Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, let's do it live on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Jake Trotter coming up at 10:33, as he is accustomed to do on a fine First Friday. Get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971-BFS or on the YouTube chat. We'll handle them there as well. That is coming up at 11 o'clock, and of course, you're officially endorsed on, my God, is this the last First Friday in June?
Yeah, it'll be July next week.
Oh, God. Dude, blink, and we're going to be broadcasting live at Buckeye practice on August 1st. July, you're not even going to see it.
Do your kids know that it's going to be July next week?
So for the oldest is the only one it really affects because football for him starts July or August 1.
Okay.
So his summer's over August 1. So, I'm starting to get the crunch of 3 of our next 4 weekends. We are playing lacrosse in flyover states, Illinois and Indiana. So I'm thrilled about that. And then we basically have the 4th of July weekend and then the last weekend in July, and then that's it. Because summer essentially ends with football practice. He's 7th grade, so that's 5 days a week. They're practicing. That's the end of it. And the other 2, it's not quite as restrictive. But for the oldest, it's done. Summer's over.
That just reminded me in 8th grade when the first week of practice, you go there and you're not in pads yet and it's mostly conditioning and maybe trying to weed some of the kids out. And the coach, trying to be a motivational speaker, was like, you think this is tough? Imagine blah, blah, blah. 4th quarter, all this stuff. He's like, if anybody thinks this is too tough, I got my phone right here. And he pulls his phone out of his pocket and he opens it up. It's a flip phone. And he says, I got my phone right here. Anybody can call their mom and they can get out of here. And one kid goes, yes, I would like to. And took the coach's phone, called his mom, and went home.
That's unbelievable. I had a similar one. Coach Lutz, who I've coached with a couple of times through the years, at one point, there was a kid, I think we were coaching at the time. NBC was probably 3rd grade or something like that, and it was just flag football. And but he was being fun and having a little bit of intensity. And he said to one of the kids, son, do you even like football? And the kid goes, no, I don't. And I went this poor kid, why is he here? He doesn't want any part of this.
Football is zero fun, sir.
Yeah, it's not for everybody. That's for sure when you're trying to play it at the young ages. Speaking of football, yesterday we had a little bit of fun with the EA Sports top 25 or 20 toughest venues, and Ohio State came in 4th on that list.
Yeah, and they're releasing lists all this week as well.
Yeah. So Ohio State came in 4th, and I think today on the poll, I heard the fellas talking about it at the end of the show. They were talking about, and they both kind of said Ohio Stadium consensus top 5. But I know the poll had something to do with it as well in terms of where Ohio Stadium ranks in terms of the environment. And I've thought about it since we did the show yesterday, and this is kind of where I landed on it. First game that I ever attended at the Shoe was September 1st, 2007. So it's a noon game against Youngstown State. Up until that point, I had been in the South, so it was the ACC programs and then quite a few of the SEC were my points of reference on big-time college football. So never seen a game in this part of the country, never seen a Midwest power. Obviously knew very well what Ohio State was, but had never walked in. Go ahead, Reese.
Had you heard of Youngstown State or Youngstown?
Well, I sure had, because I went to my brother went to University of Montana, and they played Youngstown State, I want to say, for a national championship. Youngstown State was a power in 1AA.
Was Jim Tressel the coach?
He was the coach.
Likely, yes.
He was the coach. And so it's funny, when a buddy of mine was a diehard Ohio State fan who I worked in television with down in Tallahassee. His dad went to Ohio State. He went to Indiana. And when they hired Tress, he was so nervous. And I was like, no, this dude can do it. I'm telling you, he is a program builder. I had no hesitation at all with Tress, because I saw what he did at Youngstown State. He won, I think, 2 or 3 national championships at Youngstown State. So if you could build it there, then you can build it. And he did. So, yes, I did know who the Penguins were and was very well aware. And I remember the lead up to that, obviously the Tress and Youngstown and all of that. But what I recall, and this goes back to the conversation we were having yesterday about toughest venues, and I think that's a nuanced conversation when it comes to Ohio Stadium and the shoe. What struck me is I went with, it was Dami and I, and we went in and we were up in the press box it was a noon game, if memory serves, and we were in the press box by 11, somewhere thereabouts. And you take the elevator up to the press box, and you walk down that hallway, and then the way the press box is situated, you've got kind of stands that are there, and then that looks over the windows onto the thing, but like the food and stuff is behind all of that. So I went to my seat, and I looked out, and what struck me was how many people were in their seats. It felt like an hour before the game, there were 50,000 people there, and by a half hour before the game, it was full. And I thought, my God. And then all of a sudden, you have this band come marching out, and I'm like, well, that's interesting. And everyone's standing. Everyone's standing. And you guys all know this because this is how you grew up. You grew up as this is normal. I'm telling you, it ain't. Others don't do this. So it was full. We go Script, Ohio. Place is packed, 105,000. 15 minutes before kick, the band goes through its thing. The team runs out. Away we go. And all of a sudden, we're playing the game against Youngstown State. And I go, well, that's different. And then we get to halftime. And the band comes out at halftime. And as soon as it goes to halftime, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get, at the time, I think they had City Barbecue or something. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go get some snacks and whatever. So I went back to go get snacks. Nobody else in the press, very few others in the press moved. And nobody in the stands moved. They all stayed. And I thought, well, what the hell is this? This is when we go get snacks. It's halftime. Take a break. Use the restroom. Go do this. No. They stayed. And so that's all unique and different. Where I landed on Ohio Stadium and the shoe from an environment standpoint is, at its best, it's top 5. And for me, I had it fourth. At its best, I have Penn State number 1, Florida number 2, LSU number 3, Ohio Stadium 4, and Neyland Stadium in Knoxville 5. This is all circumstantial based on my experiences at those places. Like when I was in Tuscaloosa, it wasn't much. When I was at Georgia, it wasn't what it is now. It was really cool. They're really cool places, but it wasn't light a cauldron. I saw Florida, Tennessee in the early 2000s in Neyland, and it mattered. And that place was nuts. And the same thing with LSU, Florida, and then any UF game at night was, when they were at their best with Spurrier and then with Urban, was out of this world. And Penn State's the best. There's a hopelessness to Penn State because it's just this black hole of 110,000 people in the middle of nowhere, and you feel like at any point the structure could crumble. So there's that part of it too, but they're right on top of you, and it's the same way with Florida. But this is what I would say about Ohio Stadium. Ohio Stadium is the best, period, because you're there early, you're there at halftime, and even for the games like that game that I went to again, that very first game that I ever saw against Youngstown State, and I know that it's dwindled a little bit in the last 17 years or so, but even for the marginal games, you're there. There's the tailgate. You're there for the band at halftime. You're there for Script, Ohio to start it. There's a pageantry to Ohio Stadium that I think, sure, at its apex, Penn State, Florida, LSU, unbelievable. But like, I've been to some garbage games at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida that suck with no environment, none. They're trying to manufacture it, noon. Here you don't have that problem. So I think probably overall, Ohio Stadium, I would probably put number 1 in terms of no matter what game you're getting a unique experience. Hell, I remember when they used to do like the fall, they would do a fall practice at the stadium, and they put 30-some thousand people in there, or the spring game. Like there is something that is that obviously so many revere about the place, and so when you get in there, it's special. And I think that the bad games at Ohio Stadium are still great. The apex of it is, for me, it's 4, but it's top 5, I think, consensus. But even the bad ones have environment, and I can't say that for the others. Now, I've never been to a bad game at LSU. I've never been to a bad game at Penn State, but certainly we've seen some of those noon games over there, and it looks like there's about 45,000 people there.
It's funny too, because even when there has been some of those attendance that makes people go, "Oh, that's not exactly what you expect for Ohio State." I'm thinking specifically a couple of years ago, there was a MAC school that Ohio State was playing, and everybody was worried that it was like 75,000, and it did look kind of empty because of just how big the stadium is. But it's still 75,000 people, which is a lot of stadiums' max capacity. So you're right; it does bring that environment to it. The students don't always get the memo on be there for the band before a noon kick, but everybody else has that. Yeah,
I know that's crazy, but I'm telling you, they used to.
They got to do a better job of getting the students to remember. This is the
all
best
on their phones.
Damn band in the land. But you just have to do one more game of beer pong, I guess, before you head down to the stadium. I think the hardest part about ranking it too is, but I like the way you did it. Like, think about it at its apex, at its biggest games. That's the kind of stuff. I didn't like that they evaluated it though with like historic home win percentage, because Ohio State's just really good. They win most of their home games, not because the crowd is great, which it is, but just because Ohio State is a lot better than most teams. So I think they could have gone into further metrics, but they did leave themselves a backdoor anyways. In the release from EA, they said all these rankings are subject to change. And apparently in your like dynasty mode, you can build up your stadium ranking. So it's really just for if you just go cold into a game, how the stadiums are going to affect it. But I do like that idea that if you're in a dynasty mode, try to get attendance up, try to get people excited. Sure. It's like another thing you can build in the game.
I would have my stadium just be silent.
Of course.
No band, no COVID? Cheering, nothing. No, there'd be people in the stands. There'd be 100,000 of them, but they would all be dead silent.
Just dead silent.
You walk into that atmosphere.
Reese is going to build a dynasty at Ohio in the COVID year. Just no one at Peden, just empty. Watching him.
He wants to be the last ranked.
Last one in there.
That's what I want to see. Like, so they've got the 25 toughest. Yeah. What about 130, 131, and 132?
I mean, I am curious how deep they build the game. How far in? How much? Like, how many 1AAs are in it? Will they even dig into that? Probably not. I would think. Like, how big can you make this thing? Because the old one had it. It had FCS programs in it, and you could play up and try to go through. They were all like generic stadiums and stuff, but like it did have some of that. And again, every night, I'm telling you, I'm not kidding you. Last night it was Bootsy. Can we get it? Can we get it? No, it's not out yet. We'll pre-order. Don't worry. You'll get it as soon as it's available. I promise you.
What is the actual release date?
It's like middle of July, 16th or something like that. Somewhere like that.
July 19th. Yep.
Yeah. Something like that. So that's where I landed on it. I think overall it's consistently the best, and it's top 5 at its apex. Unfortunately, and we'll get out of here on this, because of what they have chosen to do with their television partners, Ohio Stadium at its best is at night, and we're not going to have many of those. We're not going to have many of our best games at night here. They're primarily going to be noon kicks is what it's going to be, and that's to lose some of that. I do think there's damage to that. I think Urban was on to something. I think when he was playing all those night games early, he was aware that this is up there. This is right there with the best at night. But it can be sleepy sometimes at noon. It can be sleepy, and so that's something that I think you are harmed by a little bit. I finally came up with the Caitlin Clark analogy. You were asking the big question about how does she rate her games rate versus the rest of WNBA. We got that information, and I think I have it, so we'll do that. We also, coming up next, I don't know if the Guardians are going to lose again all summer. Maybe that's where they are, the best team in baseball. They're playing that way right now, but what does that mean in June? Lots of college football coming up in the 10 o'clock hour of the program. We're off and running. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
Hi, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Need a perfect gift? Check out the new line of Glock watches and other stunning jewelry at Worthington Jewelers. Make every occasion sparkle with Worthington Jewelers, where exceptional gifts await.
The best of two leagues meet again this summer. Catch the stars of MLS and Liga MX as they show off their skills at the 2024 MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T. Tuesday, July 23rd at Lower.com Field. Tickets start at $25. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
The Fan is your home for the Dallas Cowboys.
No, we're not. You can't say that. Take two.
The Fan is your home of the Buckeyes. Yes, that's right. Same thing, but more playoff success. Now give Big Voice Guy another brandy. Thank you. The Fan.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your foundation and damaging your home. Cracks in walls and uneven floors are just a few signs your foundation is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best, but unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month, and the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
We're feeling the squeeze of high inflation.
Today's record inflationary report means more economic pain ahead for Americans. Costs are up on food, rent, and used cars, and of course, gas, which is up almost 50%.
Ohioans are struggling, but Senator Sherrod Brown voted multiple times to spend our tax dollars on illegal immigrants, voting to give illegals Social Security benefits for work done illegally. And Brown voted in favor of taxpayer-funded health care for illegals granted amnesty, while many Ohio families can't get in to see a doctor. Call Senator Sherrod Brown at 216-522-7272 and tell him to support S3578, the Protect Medicaid Act, and start voting against taxpayer-funded giveaways to illegal immigrants. We need cheaper gas, food, and housing, not handouts to illegals who don't play by the rules. Paid for by One Nation. www.onenationamerica.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for afternoon showers and thunderstorms with a high of 82. Tonight, we get down to around 62 degrees. And then on your Thursday, look for sunny skies with a high of 81. Friday, partly cloudy, high 87. I'm Doppler 10 meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
The uncle you never knew you had. The friends you kind of wish you didn't. This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey, it's your Uncle Bo here. I want you to picture this. Cannonballs into the lake, s'mores at the fire pit. By the way, if you want to enhance your s'mores, every once in a while throw a Reese's cup on that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
That'll elevate it in a hurry right there. You get to sleep under the stars. You get to avoid those ridiculous lines and all of the trouble that comes with air travel. And it can be you when you visit my friends at RCD RV. RCD is right now having their summer open house. You can't miss it. Huge RV savings all month long this month. New travel trailers as low as $14,995. The area's widest selection, over 600 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Their pre-owned RV deals right now are stupefying what they're doing. It's unbelievable. If you're in the market, I promise you, they have something for you. Start your summer adventure at RCD RV. Visit one of the 3 Central Ohio locations or online anytime at rcdrv.com. We were curious. You asked this question yesterday, Chops, in terms of Caitlin Clark games versus everybody else, because they had another 2 million game over the weekend, and we had we ended up getting this from the guy at Fox, right? And
Michael Mulvihill. Yeah,
tell the people the numbers.
It's crazy too, because he literally answered my question exactly how I wanted it, right. And I just saw. I didn't even search for it. I just saw this tweet, but he said WNBA viewership season to date, all networks. Caitlin Clark games are rating at 1.184 million on average. All other games, 428,000. So how does that compare to other WNBA seasons? Well, for last year, the 2023 season, that's up from 301,000 for the average of games. So it's up across the board, and then the Caitlin Clark one is 4 times what it was last year.
Here's what it is. I've seen a lot of people try to explain the phenomenon around it, and obviously there's when they bring in the Angel Reese part of it, and that's when it really goes up. When there's history between the two of them. There's racial implications between the two of them. There's various left and rights that have grabbed onto both. None of that makes any damn sense. I mean, I understand why it's happening. Not an idiot, get it, but at the same time, it just seems kind of lazy. But here's the reality of it. And I heard Magic Johnson yesterday say that Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark reminded him of him and Larry. That's not it. That ain't it. What Caitlin Clark is Tiger Woods. She's Tiger Woods of the WNBA. Not dominance, but she's not a spoke in the wheel. She is the wheel. When she participates, you watch. When she doesn't, half of you don't. It's just that simple. She is a singular ratings phenomenon. Tiger did this in golf. Now, he dominated too, and maybe that'll come for her. Who knows? She's very, very good. But that's the best comparison I could come up with for her. That's the doppelganger. When Tiger Woods was in a golf tournament at his prime and when he wasn't, the ratings were dramatically different. When Caitlin Clark is in a WNBA game and when she's not, the ratings are dramatically different. There's nothing else in sport that I could come up with consistently that where one person dictates ratings that much. Other than that, it's not Kobe. It's not Michael. It's not a 2-to-1 difference when LeBron plays versus when somebody else does. It's not that big of a difference. This is a 2-to-1 difference minimum on average. It's actually a little more than that, almost 3.
Yeah,
so that's the best I could come up with of when Tiger Woods was in a golf tournament, when he wasn't. Right now, she's having that impact on their ratings.
I'm trying to think of any other individual sports, but really the only one that comes to mind is tennis. And they have stars, but it's not Nadal's not in Wimbledon. That changes how much of Wimbledon.
Sisters maybe did it. Maybe they did it a little bit.
I could see that, and definitely when those stars get to the later rounds in those, then it has a little bit more juice. But it's not that you're right. When Tiger plays, people are watching on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. They're watching the entire time, and that's what's happening with Caitlin Clark right now. So I think that's a good comparison. But I would say, Bo, be careful that this clip doesn't get out into the interwebs, because a couple days ago, Lisa Bluter, who was Caitlin Clark's coach at Iowa, she retired, and she was on some sort of show, and she was just saying that Caitlin Clark looked up to Maya Moore as she was growing up and told this story about getting an autograph. And she's like, and now Caitlin Clark is this generation's Maya Moore. And there were a bunch of people who were like, she hasn't accomplished everything Maya Moore has accomplished. And it's like she was not talking about their basketball play on the court. She was just saying for kids to look up to, she's kind of filling that role now. But like you said, once something gets out there and is out of context, especially about Caitlin Clark right now, it's gone. It goes everywhere.
I don't know. I think this was cautioned kind of before the WNBA draft of don't try to compare this to anything with Caitlin Clark and what she's doing with the WNBA, but then it feels like everybody just has to. We got to this. What's happening right now, I don't know if there is a comparison.
Woods is the one. It's the closest because he is when he was at his prime, when he was at a tournament, or when he wasn't. It was a dramatic difference. This type of difference.
Messi in the MLS has that effect right now too. When he plays.
Yeah, and the difference between Messi and Woods and Caitlin right now is he is the best soccer player, or arguably the greatest soccer player of all time, and he is arguably the greatest golfer of all time. She's not that yet. So that's what makes her thing. I mean, it's a stunning difference in who's watching, because people are seeking out her games.
Most team sports, we are more beholden to the laundry than the player. for the most part. Like when games come up, we go, oh, we're so into that. Not because this guy's playing this position for this team, but because those teams have a history or they've been very successful recently or something like that. Whereas the individual sports like Tiger Woods, it can be about that individual. And right now it's getting that crossover into the team sports with both, we were talking about Messi, but also Caitlin Clark. And hopefully, and we're seeing it a little bit as we saw with those numbers, that it is growing the game outside of Caitlin Clark ones, which is something that golf definitely grew, but now we're seeing like, okay, life after Tiger, can you hold on?
Yeah, right. There is growth here, but she's the supernova. Great job of the NHL as well, 7.7 on that. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Most viewed NHL game ever on ESPN Plus, up 182%. You get a Game 7 too. I mean, you get a Game 7. It's unopposed. The NBA wasn't involved. You really had the promotional wing and the power of ESPN for the last 7 days of this thing because the finals was over, and that matters.
I also saw a stat that like it was up like 16.3 million when you included ESPN Deportes and like the Canadian viewership as well. So it was the most watched North American NHL game since 2004.
It goes back to what do we love? Drama. And the idea that there's Connor McDavid, best player in the world. The Panthers have blown 3 games. They blew a 3-0 lead, like similarly with Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. We love drama. It's like the X's and O's are great, and the sport itself, but the drama just attracts so much more.
A Game 4 closeout is never going to draw these kind of numbers that a 7 will.
No, I also think like the Canadian part of it, like there was something to that, like that interested people, like Canada finally breaking their streak. Are the Guards ever going to lose again, Reese? Are they going to win every game all summer?
Yeah, probably.
Just keep winning?
If they can get a pitcher at the MLB trade deadline.
They don't need any.
Well, we'll see.
They've won 7 in a row. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, not the most well, you know, I'm nitpicky with this sort of thing. So 10-8 over the Orioles, like great. However, if you want to try to keep pace, you know, with the New York Yankees or with the Philadelphia Phillies, you probably can't give up 8 runs.
Orioles are legit though, right?
They're a legit team.
Yeah. I mean, so you're cruising. So they have another one tonight. My litmus test on the baseball is my kids, and they start like last night they wanted to put it on. So they're starting to get some momentum for it a little bit on that side of things. They're 51-26. But I think the problem, and your tone on this is probably that of many Guardians, Indians fans for the last 20 years or so. Well, really the last 20 years is like, this is nice, but I wish this needs to be September. This is really nice, but let's make sure we do this in September, and that's really what their operation will be, because it feels like they check every other box. The NBA draft is tonight. I don't know 80% of the kids in it, but we had a deal last night, and I think it is a deal that we will start to see more and more of, a blockbuster deal, 5 first-round picks. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If you don't like listening to Morning Juice, Bobby Carpenter's man nipples will punch you in the face. For real.
You want to fight, do you? Weekdays from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in. We'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
1-877 Cars for Kids.
today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
It's the Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event. So give your friends something to look at and make this a summer to share and save with a capable Kia SUV like the Sorento, Sportage, Seltos, or Telluride, or a powerful sedan like the fun-to-drive Forte, each backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. And for a limited time, get 1.9% APR for 48 months for well-qualified buyers and $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged 2024 Sportage and Sorento models. Kia, movement that inspires.
Call 800-333-4KIA for details. Financing for 24 to 48 months from Kia Finance, subject to credit approval for purchase of a new 2024 Sportage or Sorento. Excludes hybrids and PHEVs. $21.65 per month per 1,000 financed at 48 months. $1,000 bonus cash on specially tagged models must be applied as down payment. Must take delivery by 7/8/24. Limited inventory. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See retailer for details.
Small businesses are the engines that power our country. So why is it so hard for them to acquire business funding for things like expansion and cash flow? Meet Swish Funding, the business funding platform exclusively for small businesses. Whether it's $25,000 or even $2 million, our process takes just minutes with cash in less than 24 hours. You must be in business for at least 1 year with an average monthly revenue of at least $25,000 at swishfunding.com. Swishfunding.com.
If one game can get you into the Hockey Hall of Fame, this was it.
Hobie Baker starred for Princeton University in hockey and football and remains the only athlete in both the College Football and Hockey Halls of Fame.
The whole atmosphere was electric when he was playing. You couldn't ignore him. This kind of blonde Adonis.
As famous as he was in his day, he is little remembered now. 30 for 30 podcast presents Searching for Hobie Baker. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
NBA draft is tonight. Pretty anonymous when you take a look at who is in the mix for this thing. This is a huge deal for me when I was a kid. As I've said before, we didn't have cable, and this used to be. Is this still on Turner? Or is this an ESPN? It's ESPN now. It used to be on Turner, and I would go to my grandmother's house and I would order a pepperoni and mushroom pizza and watch the NBA draft. And it was our little tradition. Like her and I would do it. She would count on me going. I would go and I would watch it, and I did that all the way through high school. I would go into town and watch that at my grandma's house. I loved it. I loved the NBA draft. I loved the sense of, my God, a team's fortunes can change like that overnight. And because there was no social media, because there was no prognostication, there was real drama about what was going to happen at a given pick. No, there wasn't much drama. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal was going to go number 1. But in terms of the ones beyond that, there was questioning. Who could go 2? Who could go 3? Where will Jimmy Jackson fall to? Who's going to come up and get those guys? Is this going to be something that changes the trajectory of that franchise? There was real mystery to it. And of course, they were drafting real stars. They're not doing that anymore. They're drafting projections. They're drafting traits. They're drafting a piece of clay that they hope that they can mold into something else. It's very rare that we get a Wembanyama situation where a guy comes in, or a Doncic, and they come in and they go right away. It's just hard. And it's you're drafting mostly 18, 19-year-olds. To speak to just the absurdity of it, I saw this morning that the most bet player to go number 1 overall was Bronny James.
Yeah, I'd seen that leading up to the draft, but
hell yeah.
I believe it's held on, B.
Now, that's how Vegas got built.
I think that
like, holy hell.
I believe it's number of bets, not money. I don't know who the money is on. Still, because it's a lot, but it's a lot of micro bets on Bronny James to go number 1. And he's not going to do that. No. He's not even going to be in the top 10. Like, he's not anywhere near that kind of stuff. Yeah.
No. It it's hard to feel bad for a kid who is LeBron's son and has the life that he has and all the things that come with it. But I remember when he was here last summer, and Ohio State was right there at the very end for him between Ohio State and USC. And Ohio State was very interested in Bronny, and it was one of those things where, like, a lot of people had pushed away because they didn't want everything that came with it. And the thing that I heard from people at Ohio State was that LeBron and Savannah were very much like just regular parents. Now, would that have been the case had they got into the season? But they had LeBron. It's not like LeBron was like demanding anything of the coaching staff, nothing like that.
LeBron's busy running the Lakers. How could he run Ohio State?
He's got his own job. But that said, like it's just absolutely farcical that a kid who, he just does not have NBA traits. He actually could have been probably a really good, solid college basketball player. He doesn't need the money, but could have crushed it in the NIL world. And now he's going to be thrust into this NBA world. He's a 6'2" combo guard who shoots it okay, but he's not elite. He's like Reed Shepherd, who looking at the picture of NBC and him last night when I was thinking about the fact that he's going to go third overall, and he looks like a kid you'd see around the block. He is 6'2" generously 6'2". Like it ain't much, if at all. He's not a foot taller than NBC at all, so it's definitely right on it. But he has elite traits, right? He's got incredible vertical, just like his dad did, Jeff Shepherd, when he played at Kentucky, and he also doesn't miss when he shoots.
Yeah,
like he is elite at shooting the basketball, and that's the thing that you're looking for now, and that's what they're looking for in this draft. Which gets me to this story. So the Knicks swung a deal last night for Mikal Bridges, so another former Villanova star.
They have 4 of them now.
They do, yeah.
Jalen, DiVincenzo, Hart, and Bridges now.
Yeah, I like it. I think it makes a lot of sense. So the return on this is the Nets get their 2026 first-round pick back that they got the Rockets to relinquish the swap rights. It doesn't even matter. Here's the nuts and bolts of it. It's 5 first-round picks. 5 first-round picks go to the Nets in exchange for Mikal Bridges. And my buddy Nick was texting me. He's like, 5 first-rounders for Bridges. This is crazy. And my feeling for it is that I think the NBA is now treating first-round picks like second-round picks because there are so few Wembanyamas. There are so few sure things that it takes a while for these guys to develop. And what the Knicks wanted was a sure thing. Mikal Bridges is a sure thing. He's a very good basketball player, and coupled with the rest of the talent on that roster, it might be somebody that puts them in the mix if they're healthy to go toe-to-toe with the Celtics next year or the Sixers or the Bucks and those type of teams. So we can't value a first-round pick the way that we used to in this sport because they don't mean as much. I mean, think about how many first-round picks like Utah and Oklahoma City have. And Oklahoma City has built something now where they've hit on them, and they've hit on a lot of them. And so they're starting to hit it. But they also traded for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They had Paul George, and they got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was known. I don't know that anybody thought he was going to be a first-team All-NBA guy that early in his career with the Clippers, but he was good, and he was on people's radar. People knew it, and they got him. So that's part of how this has all happened. So I don't have a problem with the Knicks doing this at all. And I think you're going to see more of this in the association where give me the known and don't value the ones the way we typically used to value ones.
My guess would be that it's analytics driven. Even in the NFL, where first round picks are still treated like gold and they should be, they have opened up a little bit more to trading one, not 5 first round picks, but 1 first round pick for a guy who is already in the league and you know what he is. But in the NBA, I would love to see the numbers on that because I'm sure somebody in some front office or, multiple front offices has crunched the numbers and said, okay, over the last 20 years, our first round picks have become a real contributing player on our rosters 1 out of every 4 or 1 out of every 5 times. So if you can just go get a guy and trade 5 first round picks, that's the same thing, and you know what you're getting. And I think that's probably what they've come across. And now when it's funny because all those teams who get those trades, it works both ways, where the team that makes the trade says, hey, it's not worth it for us to hold on to all these first round picks if we can just go get a guy right now who can contribute right now. And then the other teams get the picks, and do they still think that they're getting this great thing that, like, oh, we're going to be able to turn this 5 straight years of having now 2 first round picks into something? Or are they just holding on to those as an asset to trade? But all it does is bring down the excitement in an NBA draft that already has lost excitement over the years because nobody cares about their first-round picks right now.
Is the NFL the only league where top picks matter? Really matter?
Well, I guess this is the point. In an instance where you have a Paul Skeens, then it matters. In an instance when you have a Wembanyama, it matters. In an instant when you have a Bedard, and by the way, the fact that all of those guys were last year is pretty crazy. But all three of those guys were identified, drafted number 1 overall, and dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Dudes out of the gates. We were told they were dudes, and they all were. So, but by and large in those three sports, it's a crapshoot. And that never used to be the case in the NBA. That was not the case. That you were getting a known. Baseball's always going to be tricky just because the way the major league system is. Half the time you're drafting kids out of high school, then you're drafting kids that have had some college experience, but how much?
There's like 12 rounds or what. It just keeps going.
It's so hard. The NHL, the top end guys are identified and they're identified early, and they almost always are dudes. The NBA used to be, but because of what is now with the one and done rule, and really as soon as they allowed high school kids to come in, it's hard to find a sure thing now. And I think the thing that is also really, I think ought to be alarming for like basketball in our country is now it used to be such an aberration where there would be a couple of foreign players drafted in the first round. Now it's so many foreign players are drafted in the first round. USA basketball is not what it used to be at the youth level, at the high school level. It's not.
They're not getting the same development they used to do, and then they're not developing in college. They go and they parachute in, and then they're out, and that's why it is all based on.
It is a one-on-one. It's a one-on-one ball in my hand game that's being taught.
Create my highlight reel. Yeah,
that's it. And I've seen kids with their dads. They're mic'd and they're playing in B brackets to put up Instagram posts. But it's all shake and bake, make somebody fall, all of that. It's like the old and one mixtapes. Conversely, what's being taught around the world is a full-rounded game. I mean, that's how you have when Jokic comes in, you're like, holy cow, look at all the things this guy can do. He has incredible skill.
Mm-hmm.
He's big, yeah, but he's got incredible skill. Doncic has incredible skill. They developed the full basketball game as opposed to just the one-on-one. And you look at this draft, and it's littered with foreign players. And that would used to be crazy to see multiple foreign players drafted in the first round. And this is now norm.
I think what you hit on, too, with the draft is, and the Knicks are in this position and should think that they're in this position, if you are not going to be in the lottery, then your first-round picks just aren't worth that much to you.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Figure it out. You're going to sort it out another way. It's so hard for these guys to determine who can make it and who can't. So I have no problem with what the Knicks did. I think it makes them more interesting, makes them contenders next season. And versus who knows what a draft could be going forward. It's just there are no sure things anymore when it comes to that. A lesson learned, or was it? You would think when you were in front of a microphone and you actually know what's going on behind the scenes that you would take a different tone. Absolute theft in the Lone Star State, and a coach who handled it as poorly as you can. Coming up next, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
It was a quiet night in Columbus, maybe a little too quiet. Me, Philip Flapper, plumbing detective. I was finishing up for the night when she walked in. Long hair, 2 legs. A couple of arms, a nose, elbows. Pretty standard equipment for this neighborhood. I looked at her, she looked at me, and then we did that thing where we both spoke at the same time. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, that was awkward. We went on to talk about clogs, funny odors, water going down the drain too slow. This is above my pay grade, I told her, and gave her this website, apexpros.com. They're the pros who knows, the kinds of plumbers who don't mind getting their hands dirty. And believe me, what's down those pipes is dirty. Ugh. Call the pros. Apex Pros. And that was it. She walked out of my life, using those legs I told you about earlier.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear from Apex Pros. Apex plumbers are the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Skyline is turning up the heat this summer with Hot Met Cheese Conies, made with a premium Hot Met sausage from Queen City Sausage. But don't wait. Hot Met Conies are only at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Come get yours today.
When it comes to your roof, there's really one team to call, Newman Roofing. From the first call to the final nail, our team of professionals will be there every step of the way, answering any questions you have throughout the entire process. So give Newman Roofing a call today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit us online at newmanroofing.com.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the Dopes at The Fan.
Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. Hi, it's Alex Johnson from the Diamond Cellar. As a true jeweler, we not only have luxury designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. For more than 75 years, our expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and providing the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Visit the Diamond Cellar on Sawmill Road or Easton Town Center. The possibilities are endless.
Don't miss a minute of the action on the diamond with ESPN Bet. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN is the only place to find offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities, including daily odds boost and home run specials all season long. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Lowe's knows owning a project means owning the right tools. And during Craftsman Days, you can save big on what you need from a brand you trust. Get a free Select V20 tool when you buy a Select Battery 2-pack. Plus, get your choice of the V20 string trimmer or leaf blower for only $99. Find these savings and more today. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 7/10 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Because comfort keeps us going. So grab your family, your friends, and your Wrangler layers for some fresh air adventures together. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. The best hair on the air. You are listening to Bishop and Friends.
All right. Texas A&M played for the College World Series. They were in the final series against Tennessee. They won the first game. And then lost the last two, and Tennessee ended up winning the national championship. A&M is coached by a guy named Jim Schlossnagle. He's the job at Texas A&M. He's the coach at Texas A&M. He was hired by Ross Bjork and had an immediate impact. I want to say his lineage, he came from TCU and then went to Texas A&M. And I can tell you this, having covered college baseball for a while, there are certain programs who you would say this is a Mount Rushmore program. And one of those, without question, is the University of Texas. That Texas baseball that's it. It's one of them. It's one of the four. You can pick the other three, but rest assured Texas baseball is one of the four. The Texas job came open. So this was following Texas A&M's loss to Tennessee in the deciding game of the College World Series. It went to 3. Tennessee won the last 2 and won the national championship. And this was Jim Schlossnagle after that game being asked about the Texas job, which had become open.
Coach, with respect to the difficult outcome tonight, but with the rumors circulating today about a specific job opening, what do you have to say about your future in Aggieland?
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's pretty selfish of you to ask me that question, to be honest with you. But I left my family to be the coach at Texas A&M. I took the job at Texas A&M to never take another job again, and that hasn't changed in my mind. That's unfair to talk about something like that. That'd be like you asking Montgomery if he's going to sign in the draft. But I understand you got to ask the question, but I gave up a big part of my life to come take this job, and I've poured every ounce of my soul in this job, and I've given this job every single ounce I can possibly give it. Just write that.
Then he got up and left. That was the end of the presser.
Yeah, and now he's the head coach at Texas.
18 hours later.
So he was at A&M for 3 seasons is what it amounted to. He did come from TCU, where they went to the College World Series 4 times. He's very accomplished, very highly regarded. They've taken him. He's been to 2 College World Series at Texas A&M and now gets the job at Texas. Here's the thing I don't. So he took this as an opportunity to chastise the guy asking the question.
It's selfish to ask that question.
It's selfish to ask that question, which is an absurd take. It's an absurd position to handle. What I don't understand is why when coaches are in this spot, and most famously it was probably Saban with the Dolphins, who said, if you want me to say it, I'm not going to be the coach at Alabama. Fine, I'll say it. But he knew he was going to be the coach at Alabama at the time that he took that press conference. He knew it. And this guy knew that he was going to be the coach at Texas when he had this press conference.
I don't think Texas heard this soundbite and said, let's contact this guy.
No, this was known. So why do people in this position take this tone and go this route with it? What is gained by doing this? Why? There's so many other ways to say it. You could simply say, I'm not going to talk about what's coming up in the future. I want to talk about this team and what happened here. And I understand you got to ask those questions, but I'm not going to answer those at this time. And that'll probably be it. And guess what? You'd get another one and go, yeah, I'm just not going to talk about that at this time. That's all you got to do. Instead, you say that this line about it's selfish of you to ask it. And then he says the line about I took this job to never take another one, knowing full well that he had already taken another job. Why paint yourself in that corner?
I have no idea why he would do something like that. And then to add on, like, he's talking about one of his players. It's like asking him if he's going to sign in the draft. It's like, that's exactly what you, and it's also exactly what you might ask a player after the final game to say, well, what is your future hold? Like this is the last time you might be able to talk to you, coach, or talk to any of these players for a very long time. So somebody has to ask the question. That's what reporters do. And if your answer is something that's just like, just passes it along and says, oh, I'm not going to talk about that right now, then there you go. That's how you squash it. Like you said, by going into this and then actually, while you know in your head that you are taking the job, you were just setting yourself up to be ridiculed. And Mike pointed this out on the YouTube chat, and I was thinking about it too. Bill Mosiello, who just left Ohio State after a few years being the baseball coach, he went back to TCU because he hadn't moved his family up here. And Mike points out, and I thought of the same thing. It's like, what does TCU have to offer that all these baseball coaches are going elsewhere and leaving their families there?
It's got to be Dallas, Fort Worth,
I was just about to say the Metroplex.
Yeah. But another
Texas boy, Texas forever.
Another connection to Texas, too, is Chris Del Conte, the Texas athletic director, was also the TCU athletic director. So they have a relationship from the past as well. And that's why the dots were so easy to connect. And people were like, hey, it sounds like you're going to take this job. And then he did.
So this goofball is going to be introduced. It was introduced, I guess, unofficially by Texas last night. He's going to have a press conference this morning. Looks like 11 o'clock Central. What are the chances that reporter who asked him the question after the College World Series is front and center today in Austin?
Well, what are the chances that Texas didn't credential?
Well, so that's it. So this is my hunch on this. He said Aggie Land. So I'm guessing he's a Texas A&M
beat
reporter or web, because he referred to it as Aggie Land. So that's probably my hunch.
But still, he'll be asked about this. You'd think, unless state-run media is like, no, you can't ask him about A&M.
I just think that there's a
what
a
changed
way to
in the
handle
18
this.
hours, Coach?
Yeah, there's a way to handle this. It's really different from the way that he did, and to make it personal on the reporter for essentially you just got caught in the lie. There's no graceful way to leave. The most famous one of these, and Herbstreit was 100% right. You will recall, and we were just talking about the 07 Buckeye football season. Les Miles was going to Michigan. He was going to Michigan. And Herb Street reported it on game day. And Miles had that press conference. He says, I'm going to coach my damn fine football team. And then 1,000 things happened. And all of a sudden, LSU found themselves with 2 losses playing for a national title. And he said, well, I can't leave now. I mean, I'm not Bill Frieder. I'm not leaving when I got a chance to win a national title. So he stayed at LSU, but he was going to Michigan. And he had the press conference he had. I'm going to coach my damn fine team. So there's no easy way to do this. It's oftentimes awkward. But that's not it.
The funniest thing, too, is he starts the answer as like, yeah, well, and like it sounds like he's going to be kind of measured and, kind of play it off. And then he just gets like angrier through his own talking.
Because he just shoves off at the end. He just is like, the hell with it. I will buy either one of you a bottle of High Bank of your choosing if you can tell me who has the most wins in college baseball history.
Is it you're saying a coach?
No, team. Program.
Team?
Vanderbilt.
I have no. Let's go with. I don't even know who.
There's no way they're all
from the South.
I will give you the mascot. They're the Rams.
VCU.
Colorado State.
Fordham is number 1 all time with wins, 4,586. Texas is 2, Stanford 3, Michigan is 4. Florida State 5, and so forth and so on that list. But yes, Texas is an all-time job. I get it. But that's the way not to handle it, certainly. Look, to win a national championship in college football, you have to have a lot of talent. There is a algorithm that a guy has put together that says these are the teams that can win a national championship. The Buckeyes are one of them. How high are they on that list? We'll get to that coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At Hollywood Casino Columbus, you're always in the driver's seat. Don't miss our $50,000 trucker cash giveaway at Hollywood Columbus. Pick between driving off in a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 or $40,000 in Penn slot play or $30,000 in cash. Grand prize awarded on Saturday, June 29th. Earn entries on your slot and table gameplay all month long. For more information, visit HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Driving plays a big part in driving the local economy. It helps us all get where we're going and creates good jobs close to home. At Synovus Energy, our refineries in Toledo and Lima are a reliable domestic source of gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. Plus, more than 2,300 employees and contractors work for us here in Ohio. See how we're helping local communities move forward at Synovus.com.
The Ohio Egg Fest is back for its 10th year, presented by Specialty Gas House and Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. Join us for this big green egg grilling competition at Fortress Obetz on Saturday, July 27th. Enjoy all-you-can-eat food from 36 cook teams, live music from North to Nashville, cooking demos, giveaways, and more. Don't miss out on discounted big green egg grill packages with over $600 off retail and a lifetime warranty. Pre-order online at theohioeggfest.com today before they sell out. All proceeds benefit cancer research at the James. Get your discounted big green egg grills and your taster tickets now at theohioeggfest.com.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 888-665-0696 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check as easy as, that's 888-665-0696.
Paid actor portrayal. Dude, guess how much I pay for $1 million term life insurance policy?
Gotta be at least $150 a month.
Nope. I got coverage through Ethos all online for less than $70 a month and no medical exam. Just answered a few health questions.
That's impressive. I'm shocked you have life insurance.
Wait, don't you? You have a wife and kids. What if something happens to you? With Ethos, you can start your coverage the same day.
Wow. I'm sold.
Get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. The Cleveland Guardians have the best record in baseball. Guardians won their 7th straight last night, a 10-8 victory over the Orioles in Baltimore. Jose Ramirez hit his 21st home run of the season in that win. J-Rams 4th in the league in dingers. Emmanuel Clase earned his 25th save. He's 2nd in the bigs. Cleveland looks to break out the brooms in Baltimore tonight at 6:30. As for the Reds, Cincinnati fell at home to the Pirates last night 9-5. They'll host Pittsburgh in the series rubber match today at 1:15. In the minors, Columbus lost to Omaha last night 6-1. They're back at it Wednesday at 7:05. And in the NBA, the first round of the draft is tonight in Brooklyn. The Hawks have the first overall pick. The Cavs will pick at 20. You can hear first round coverage over on ESPN Columbus starting at 7 p.m. This update is sponsored by The Waterworks. Trust the pros at The Waterworks for all your plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling needs. Visit thewaterworks.com today to get started. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Bo knows many people. He talks to the interesting ones on this show. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, second hour here on a First Friday. Still time to get your Hey Guys questions into the fellas at 971-BFS. We'll also do it on the YouTube chat. If you have some there, we will answer those for you. And, of course, we are on YouTube live every day. Watch your favorite shows live. Check out the videos, YouTube Shorts. How do you find us? Head to YouTube and search 971 The Fan. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fan's new YouTube channel. Also subscribe to the podcast wherever you get those. We feel like we finally found a doppelganger for Caitlin Clark in the first hour, so that is there. And my definitive ranking of college football stadium environments. So that's in the first hour of the program today as well, and that's available wherever you get your podcasts or if you rewatch on YouTube later. All of those things win. All right, guy's name's Bud Elliott. He's with 24/7 Sport. Here's the operation. He has a blue chip ratio, and what it does, it examines the percentage of 4- and 5-star prospects on a college football team and identifies whether that team can win a national championship. Here's the quote. To win the national championship, college football teams need to sign more 4- and 5-star recruits than 2- and 3-star players over the previous 4 recruiting classes. This has been consistently true since the advent of modern internet recruiting rankings. That's from him. So here's there's 2 things on this I have to say before we kind of press on here. The first thing would be, no duh. Most talent wins? You don't say. That's kind of the way it goes. Like, Nick Saban is a great coach. He also had the best teams for 15 years. So when you recruit at that level, you get at-bats. The other thing I would say that's changed the most in recruiting in the 25-plus years I've been covering college football now is they are better at identifying talent now than they've ever been. There used to be real, true big misses in the 5-star, 4-star. And it was, guys like Tom Lemming going around to high schools and talking to coaches and trying to decide who was the number 1 player in the country. That's not the way it is anymore. There is so much data on these kids. There's so much known about what they are capable of what their talent, how it will project to the next level, that there is, I think it's easier now than ever to identify talent, and I think that there's more of a consensus would be the other part. There's more of a consensus on, these are the kids.
Well, they're at camps all summer, too, and coaches get to see them that whole time.
All summer. And that wasn't the way it was back in the day. It just has changed so much about it. There used to be, as a quick aside, I remember Lemming one year with a running back at a St. Bonaventure High School named Lorenzo Booker. And everybody had Booker as the number 1 player in the country. And Lemming wouldn't. And there was all of this beef that, and Lorenzo actually put it out there, that the reason that he wouldn't have Lorenzo Booker number 1 is that he did not go to Notre Dame, that he went to Florida State instead. And that was the reason in Lorenzo's eyes that he wasn't number 1. And Tom was defending it. But that's how crazy it used to be. It was like 6 guys. Jamie Newberg was one of those guys. And there were these guys. Bill Kurlick was one of those guys that, they would talk to coaches. And that's how you figured out these rankings, was that way. Now, there's so much data. And all of those guys are still relevant. But there's so much data now on how this stuff is done. Bill Green was another one. There's so many of those guys. Berm later on. But, those guys 25 years ago were at the forefront of it. And it was really their opinions would come up with the rankings. Now there's more of a consensus on it. So the other thing I would say to this is, I do wonder if this blue chip ratio will hold in the transfer portal world. Because, for example, the starting quarterback at Ohio State is not a 4 or 5 star. Will Howard is not a 4 or 5 star player coming out of high school. He developed into that as a transfer. He is. So how will that weigh in this? Because certain guys go someplace, develop, and then become something else at another school. So I am curious how the NIL portal world, this is a pretty straightforward approach to this, and it makes all the sense in the world to me, based on we have the most talent, we have the best chances to win. But in a portal world, is there some nuance to it?
It also, I think this would be too much work for the recruiting services because they already do so much, and now they're doing transfer portal rankings, and some of them do NIL power and what certain players can command. But I think it would be really helpful for something especially like this if they reevaluated each class every year and said, actually, this guy ended up being more of a 3-star after we actually saw him on campus and we've seen him play. And then you could get a better look at it. But for right now, we just go with the ratio of what they were when they were recruited. And then I guess, the transfers come in and they get whatever their star rating was when they went into school, even if they started at a different school. So I just don't know. It's one of those metrics that, like, it is right because these are the teams that win the national championships, but I just wonder how different the numbers could look if you really scrub them every year.
That's not a job I envy, trying to figure all of that out.
No.
Like, I'm looking at it and I'm just, that color wheel that spins on your computer when it's just buffering and, like, you can hear your fan kind of heating up. That's what this does for me. So, like, I just, because with what? There's 5-star plus. There's, recruiting services are trying to every single day figure out how they can get a leg up in, like, how they advertise themselves comparative to the next one. And it's like, how can we fairly evaluate any of these guys? But look, I guess it has come a long way from a guy saying, "Oh, you're not going to Notre Dame." You're not a 5-star.
And I can't remember, now that I told that story, I cannot remember who Lemming made number 1. I can't remember the player that he.
Yeah, I was curious to that.
It may have been Maurice Claret, honestly. I can't remember what class Lorenzo would in. He was either like 02, 03, somewhere in there. I can't remember where he was. And the funny thing is there was a kid in that class from Jacksonville named Leon Washington who ended up being not only a far better player at Florida State, but ended up being Lorenzo didn't play much in the pros, and Leon had a decent little career. He's a kick returner and kind of a third down back for the Jets. And he was actually even the better running back in that class at FSU. But that's that example. I'll find it in the break and find the kid who went over number 1 ahead of him.
One more thing while we're talking about the makeup of this list and the blue chip ratio. It also is important that he includes the idea that it's over the 4-year rolling period because it does not put you in this class to have one recruiting class where it is in the blue chip ratio of these upper echelon teams. You have to do it consistently. Your entire roster has to be filled up that way. And that's why when you're Texas A&M and you kind of do it synthetically for a year, not that their rosters were bad before that, but jump up all the way to number 1 by garnering all those 4 and 5 stars a couple of years ago. It doesn't work. It needs to be consistent and actually built on team. And then can you build your team the correct way, but just with a bunch of 4 and 5 stars? And that's where you get the Ohio State, Georgia, Alabama type rosters.
Were you looking for the top prospect in 02?
Yeah, who did it?
A quarterback out of Madison, Texas, named Vince Young.
So Vince, was that from Lemming or is that in the Rivals or 24/7?
I'm looking at 24/7. Yeah.
Okay, so I think what year's that? 02. Where's
02.
Lorenzo on the 24/7?
Lorenzo's
list?
2.
Yeah. So then I want to say in Rivals it was the other way, and Lorenzo was 1.
Was Vince a perfect 1,000 rating?
I don't believe that he was. I don't believe
he was. At least again, I'm looking at 24/7. He's 1.0000.
I thought I remember his name being on the list when we were talking about Quinn Ewers a few years ago.
Yeah, that he was. It took him. I would think Pryor would have been 1,000 too. Like he had that same type of juice to him when he came out. Regardless of that little offshoot there, here's where it is in terms of the blue chip ratio for for the 2024 season. So Ohio State, if I'm reading this right, 90% of their roster is made up of 4 and 5 stars. Is that the way that this is to be read?
So 9 out of every 10 players are 4 or 5 stars.
So that's the most talented roster in the country, according to the way that they've recruited it over a 4-year period. Number 2 on that list is Alabama at 88%. Now, if Saban doesn't leave, is Alabama's percentage like 94? Because Sayin, Downs, Like the kid the receiver who went to Texas, like they're all 4- and 5-star guys. Like if Saban doesn't leave, Bama's might actually be higher.
They might, because 2 of those players ended up on Ohio State, so Bama might even jump them and be number 1.
Yeah, it probably flips back. So my hunch is Bama would have been number 1 if Saban was still there. He's not, so good riddance. So Ohio State's number 1, Bama's number 2, and then it's a little bit of a dip to Georgia at 80%, and then Texas A&M is 4 at 79%. Oregon is 5th. They have the 5th most talented roster according to these projections at 76%. Then it goes Oklahoma, Texas. So remember, Paul came around on this. Oklahoma's roster is maybe better than what we all think. They're 73% on this. LSU, it goes Oklahoma, Texas, then LSU. So in the first 8, 3 of them are schools that are heading into new conferences this season. Notre Dame comes in at number 9 at 67%, 64% for Clemson. Then Florida at 63%. I would not have had that they've recruited that well through the last 4 years. Miami is 61%, the same as Penn State, which is 2 percentage points ahead of USC at 59%. If you're wondering where the defending national champions, well, they come in next, 56%, and then Auburn at 53% in terms of the talent on the roster. And I know my former co-host on this show said, talent doesn't win championships, toughness does. And yes, that's true, but tough talent beats tough. And that's the other part of it, is you have to have a ton of talent first and then be tough. I think the team that's not on this that's most surprising to me is Florida State. I'm pretty surprised that a team that went undefeated last year, and I know they had a ton of roster turnover, but they are not on this list at all.
Yeah, it's also interesting because I always like to make those markings. You've got that top 8. That's all Big Ten and SEC. And then you've got Notre Dame, Clemson, and Miami. But the rest of the list is all Big Ten and SEC at this point, which is just furthering that where we're seeing college football go right now. I also like the idea of, hey, if you get rid of Manny Diaz, you will have a 61% blue chip ratio, because both Miami and Penn State have a 61% blue chip ratio. I think that's just by chance. I'm curious to see too. He lists the 12 here. Like, what is the cutoff number for like you are in that national title contention? Is it getting into the 70% range? Because obviously 90% of your roster can't even play most of a season. You know that there's only so many spots. That's 90-ish guys if you're up to 90% for Ohio State, which is a good problem to have. It means that your depth is really good. But at what point is the depth good enough that you're going to have like a 2 deep of blue chip guys, and you're probably going to be okay? And I don't know exactly where that number would be, but I'd be curious what Bud Elliott would say about that. Like, where's the cutoff? That because you get to 53% for Auburn, which is obviously a very good blue chip ratio, but is that good enough to get yourself into the national title contention?
0-2 Rivals 100. Vince Young, Haloti Ngata at 2, Lorenzo Booker at 3.
So it must have been a running back. Lemming must have not had him as the best running back, and that was the beef.
Who was the next running back on the
Vince
list?
Was consensus 1.
I'm seeing, Marcus Vick was in this class. So I'm going to Rivals 100. Seatric Faison.
He went to Florida.
It would be the next highest ranked running back on this list, again, per Rivals.
Yeah. God, I remember we used to do this. I used to go to these kids' signing days. I remember all these kids, man. There's probably a kid named Deshaun Platt in that class. Who's a big-time receiver kid. There's all these guys that come and go in recruiting.
Florida State out of Punta Gorda.
Another thing with evaluation.
See that I drop a Deshaun Platt on your head on a Wednesday.
I wonder how many of those guys used to have to wait for VHS or DVDs like in the mail if they wanted to get eyes on a kid versus now you just go to Huddle and boom.
Fax in their letter. Actually fax it in.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. It's just such a different world. If you take the field, so we have some bold comments from the Illinois athletic director, and it kind of plays into this conversation about who's really giving it a go in football and who's in position to chase it. There's no question that teams 1 through 3, if I were to give you Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon, would you take that or the field? Among the topics of conversation coming up next. Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to columbusmensclinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. columbusmensclinic.com. Book your appointment now.
This is Kelly Burris, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We run a lot of ads about our firm, but often we don't discuss the resources Cordell & Cordell has available for men facing divorce. We provide many webinars and town halls on YouTube that contain a wealth of information, including our Men's Divorce podcast. Visit cordellcordell.com/resources for the latest news and to download our guides.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Columbus area attorneys. 10 West Broad Street, Suite 1550, Columbus, Ohio, 43215. CordellCordell.com.
The best of rivals, the best of two leagues meet again this summer. MLS versus Liga MX face off in the 2024 MLS All-Star, starting Sunday, July 21st. After a weekend of soccer celebrations, MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T will come to Lower.com Field on Tuesday, July 23rd, featuring MLS All-Stars versus Liga MX All-Stars as they show off the best of their skills. The two teams will match up once more at the 2024 MLS All-Star Game, presented by Target on Wednesday, July 24th. For more information on tickets and events, visit MLSsoccer.com/All-Star.
Do you subscribe to the Fan's YouTube channel? Well, why not? Catch our best interviews, Stupid Man and Bone videos, and live video of our shows as they happen.
You can participate in your neighborhood watch.
Search 971 The Fan and subscribe today.
Don't miss the Jeep Make This the Summer event, where right now, well-qualified lessees get a low-mileage lease on the 2024 Jeep Compass Limited 4x4 for $379 a month for 42 months with $3,537 due at signing. Tax, title, license extra. No security deposit required. Call 1-888-925-JEEP for details. Requires dealer contribution and lease through Stellantis Financial. Extra charge for miles over 35,000. Not all customers will qualify. Residency restrictions apply. Take delivery by 7/1/2024. Jeep is a registered trademark.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Get wings the way you want them. Try Twin Peaks wings bone-in breaded, naked, smoked and grilled, or boneless in your favorite sauce or rub.
I've always wanted 3 kids. I came from a family of 3 kids, and I started picturing having 3 car seats in the back of my truck.
That's Megan, Wisconsin native, working mom of 2 and lifelong conservative. Megan never thought she would get an abortion until a diagnosis late in her pregnancy changed everything.
Doctors told us our baby had no chance to survive. And because of Wisconsin's abortion ban, I would be forced to carry my baby for months, knowing he would die. It felt like a bad dream. It felt like a bad dream.
To get the care she needed, Megan had to leave the state. And now if senators in Washington pass a national abortion ban, families like Megan's will have nowhere to turn.
These decisions should be made privately amongst women and their families. And government should have no say in that. No senator in Washington should support a national abortion ban.
Paid for by Free and Just. Visit freeandjust.us to learn more.
Is your IRS tax debt making you feel anxious? The professionals at Allies Tax Relief are ready to negotiate your fresh start. Call them now, 800-230-5174.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today we'll see mostly cloudy skies with a high of 82. There will be showers and storms approaching the area between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. this evening. Tonight we get down to 62 degrees. Thursday, look for sunny skies with a high of 81. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
First Friday miracles are always better with Uncle Bo. This is Bishop and Friends.
And we're, of course, sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. A solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Got this on social from MG. He found Lemming's top 100 for 2002. So I sort of had this right. I sort of had it right. It was a beef with Booker, but it was on the number one running back. So he had, excuse me, someone you maybe heard of as a number one running back in that class, a guy named Maurice Clarett. So Lemming got that part right. He had Clarett better than Booker. That's the correct way of that. But he missed hugely on the quarterback. His number one overall player that year is a kid out of Thousand Oaks, California, named Ben Olsen. Vince Young was number 4 overall on his list. Olsen, if memory serves, started at UCLA, and he was a Mormon kid, so he went on a mission. I think he maybe ended up at BYU. I don't remember if he played much or not, but he had him number 1 overall. So good job out of MG on sorting that out. That's the way that one shook out. So yeah, recruiting, man. There were these crazy beefs that used to happen on that. All right, I asked you guys if you could have, if I give you Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, and Oregon versus the field, who in the field would make you most nervous, Reese?
Texas.
Mm-hmm.
That's a team that feels ready to win in it doesn't matter the league they're in. Like that they could be, you have the quarterback. You have in the SEC, Texas has what it feels like nobody else has, the quarterback. Mm-hmm. Everybody else has questions. I know Jalen Miller is back for Alabama, but they got a new head coach. Yeah. So I don't know if there's a tandem quarterback coach that could do it quite like I expect the Longhorns to.
Beck back at Georgia's there, but it's and they got 2. If Ewers doesn't go, Arch is there.
Who's some waiting. Wildcat?
Wildcat with a Manning.
I just have him running out there, see what he can do.
Hey, Arch, tell your grandpa and your uncles we're gonna put in a Wildcat package for you. We like what Ohio State did with Devin Brown last year. I think that could work for you too.
What did they bring him in for true Wildcat? And they put like some of their skill positions back there for direct snaps, and they line up Arch Manning in the slot. And like, hey, go out there and block. These guys are going to roll out. It's going to be great. We'll get you involved.
Well, didn't Urban used to say if you really wanted to see the field, you busted your ass on special teams? So you go, Arch Manning.
Go cover it. Well, if they went with the NFL return rules, he'd actually be pretty valuable. If the new NFL return rules were in college, I wonder if college football will do that, because you could have a quarterback. I think you'll see some quarterbacks throw it across the field the other way in like a reverse situation. I think that's going to be in play. And so I think when they tease about Justin Fields, I think there's something to that. But we're not there yet. Yeah, they make me the most nervous. The one thing that would surprise me is if Texas A&M gets competent coaching, are they better than we think? Is their roster better than we think?
It's possible.
They're 4th. I mean, they're 79% 4 and 5 stars. Now, that was skewed because that class was all defensive guys.
I got
60 linemen.
But a lot of them have left, too, so I don't know like what's...
But not enough because they still have those numbers.
Mike Elko was doing a good job at Duke. It's possible, but in the SEC, it's just so hard to build and get into that group that is above them. And now there are 2 teams that, with Texas being, hey, is Texas back? With Texas being better than they have been in the last 15 years or so, now you've got 2 more teams that I would put ahead of the pecking order of Texas A&M in Texas and Oklahoma. And so if you're going to compete for the SEC, like that, I guess that's the first goal. But now in the 12-team playoff, I wonder if they're talented enough that if they get in, they can make some noise. That's where I think this blue chip ratio really opens up in this 12-team playoff now.
Go ahead, Reese.
Did you guys see what I was just going to say? You talk about Texas. Like, could SMU, are they a year out from being like number 2? Did you see, like, they raised $159 million?
Oh.
Like, so that feels like a drop in the bucket for them, actually.
I have a hard time. You guys know my affinity for them. It's well documented. I love all of it about them. I love Trans Ams. I love oil money. I like big boosters named Sherwood. Like, all of it clicks for me. I like a pony on a helmet. I love the colors. I love all of it. I was just doing in July, we'll do 20 most interesting programs, and I was just putting together the list this morning, and you bet your damn they're on it for sure. And it's one of the boldest plays we've ever seen in college athletics. We're good. We don't need your money. We're good. Like Stanford could do that. Stanford has endowment, like they could do it. But the fact that A&M's like, yeah, we need no television money. We just want an invitation to the party. That's all we want. Let us in the door.
You know what would be really funny?
That's a buy if they win.
Next summer, when everybody does their FOIAs and we figure out what all these universities have made, although SMU might be private.
It is private.
So we won't be able to see them because I'm just curious, are they going to make the most money of any ACC team?
So
just from people donating to it.
To everybody's point here, they might not have to disclose it, but they might just because they can. Like that could be, I mean, that's a very Texas thing to do. Like, oh, well, we don't have to, but here's, how much more money we raised than everybody last year.
Especially if they get a look across and see where the ACC teams actually landed and see where those numbers are and be like, oh, we're right in that neighborhood or actually above it.
I also love the idea that everybody who is in the old Southwestern Conference is still so bitter towards them that they wouldn't let them in. And they couldn't even get into the Big 12, which actually made sense. The Big 12 would rather have UCF, which honestly should be in the ACC. But it went the other way because they wanted no part. They'd rather have Cincinnati and UCF than SMU because of how they were viewed all the way back to Pony Excess, which is an incredible amount of hate, which that pleases me too.
Which SMU got punished for really hard.
As harshly as you ever could. Yes, which was probably something a great many programs were doing at that time, is probably the way that went. So the opposite of A&M is happening sort of at Illinois. And we touched on this a little bit. Athletic director there with some comments. And I think the thing that is most interesting about this, and I asked Fish because he's an alumnus, and I said, can Illinois go? Like, is there a hard ceiling on it? They have history. They're not going to go in the way that like Ohio State or anything like that.
Yeah, they can go to the MAC.
Could they be a lot better than they have been? Is that an underachieving program? There are recruiting restrictions they can't overcome. I mean, that's it. And then a lot of these bottom half of the Minnesota's like that, Indiana's like that, Purdue's like that, Illinois is like, there's a ton of them that there's just certain things they can't get over. But the line I thought that was most interesting, and Chops, you talked about this earlier in the week, but I want to give it a couple of minutes here now, is this quote from Whitman, the athletic director over there, when he says, I always think about it. If at some point they choose to put the red line on there, we need to make sure that Illinois is in front of the cut line. So what he's saying out loud is, if at some point the Big Ten says, or their television partners say, we're not getting much out of Illinois. We're not getting much out of Indiana. Let's replace them with Florida State and Clemson. We want to make sure we're on the right side of the line. The fact that a sitting athletic director said that out loud, we've all talked about it in sports talk radio world, but this is an athletic director in a Power 2 conference saying it out loud. So that leads me to believe that this conversation is taking place behind the scenes.
And it's weird because it's something that we've talked about, like, when is a conference going to do that? Say, like, actually, you're no longer invited. And we hadn't seen it yet. But as I read his comment, it made me think about maybe all the chaos around the Pac-12 falling apart kind of made us forget that it did kind of happen with Oregon State and Washington State, that they were the Pac-12 members all found other places to go. So it was the other conferences sort of saying it, but it was also sort of the Pac-12. Nobody grabbed onto them and said, no, if we're going to your conference, these teams have to come with us. And those two were left out. So there is like half of the precedent has already been set. And so as we keep going through realignment, the Big Ten and the SEC, especially the Big Ten because they've got more of them, are they going to do that? Draw that line and leave teams out? And I think it's a very real concern for those programs.
He's saying it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying it out loud. So if he's saying it out loud, people are talking like that, at least whispering about that, and they're concerned about it going forward. So could be in play too. I guess there's nothing that goes the other way that says we get to be a member of this for as long as we want.
No.
There's no reason that you couldn't say, actually, you guys suck.
And if Illinois is saying it, remember you just had that last week talking about the original Big Ten members?
Yeah.
Illinois was one of those founding members, and they're worried about it.
And they're concerned. Jake Trotter joins us next, senior college football writer at ESPN, Bishop and Friends, right here on The Fan.
The only radio show Ryan Day listens to when we're holding him hostage, making him listen to a radio show. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and I want you to picture this. Cannonballs into the lake, s'mores at the fire pit, sleeping under the stars. Well, that could be you when you visit my friends at RCD RV. RCD is having its summer open house, and you don't want to miss it. Huge RV savings all month long in June. New travel trailers as low as $14,995. The area's widest selection, over 600 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Start your summer adventure at RCD RV. Visit one of the 3 Central Ohio locations or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
If you're about to get engaged or ready to walk down the aisle, your true love deserves a true jeweler, the Diamond Seller. As a true jeweler, we not only have designer collections to meet your bridal needs, but we also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind. Visit the Diamond Seller today.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288, 800-893-2288.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for over 30,000 mouth-watering choices with savings beyond low prices, like digital coupons worth over $600 each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. More savings and more inspiring flavors make Kroger worth it every time. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Save big on USDA Choice Bone-In Ribeye Steaks in the value pack. They're only $7.99 a pound with your card and digital coupon. Limit 5. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Ah, the sweet sounds of spring. The crack of a bat, chorus of birds, and the glorious hum of a freshly tuned AC system. Don't sweat it. Let the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team keep you in tune with a spring AC checkup.
You're all set.
Schedule a visit today and stay cool all summer long. Call the Waterworks Heating and Cooling team, 614-333-9720, or schedule service on our website. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better AC.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, here to introduce you to Tansky Power Sports. That's right, check out our growing inventory of golf carts, electric bikes, and dirt bikes. And the fleet keeps growing. This month, come rent a golf cart for the 4th of July. We're located at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road in Columbus. Visit TanskyPowersports.com to book yours today. And when you think power sports, think Tansky.
Think Tansky. Think Tansky. We go to war for you.
I'm attorney Robert Scherger. After an accident, do you feel like when you have the answers, the insurance company changes the questions? Let us go to war for you and chop them down to size. Don't let them play games. Call us, 877-WAR-FOR-YOU.
WarForYou.com.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Let me introduce you to a man with a magnificent salt and pepper beard. A man who's currently roasting lamb on a spit. A man who runs the Rocky River Greek Festival. That man is Jake Trotter.
And he joins on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline, senior college football writer at ESPN, our good buddy Jake Trotter. How'd it go? How'd the Greek Fest go? How'd that come off? It was last week, right?
Record festival, though. Record
Let's
festival.
Go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, we had a little fun with this yesterday. EA Sports unleashing the college football game in July, and they listed their top 25 environments in college football. So I put together the ones that, and it's anecdotal, right? Because it's the experiences that I had in those places, and in many instances, it was an instance where this was one of the big games of the year, whether it was in the South or one of the games up here in the Midwest. When you think best environments in college football that you've been in, what makes your list?
Yeah, we just had an assignment that I had to turn in, and it was way more difficult than I thought it would be. It was essentially top 20 bucket list stadiums that maybe you've gone to, maybe you haven't, but if you're recommended to a college football fan, these are the 20 environments you got to go see, what would they be? And so you have like different categories. You have the huge stadiums, Ohio Stadium, Michigan Stadium, Neyland, Kyle Field. Then you have aesthetically like amazing. Like I don't know if you've ever been to Folsom Field before, which is Colorado. It's just absolutely scenic. If you've been to Air Force's stadium before, absolutely scenic. And then you have the Rose Bowl. I would throw into that. Like I have never been to a place like the Rose Bowl before. And then you have your traditional stadiums like Notre Dame Stadium. Maybe even Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium. Then you have your loud places like Autzen. Husky Stadium is really unique because you can take the sailboats up there. So it depends on what your criteria is. Are you looking for just the toughest places to play? In which case, Tiger Stadium at LSU has got to be up there. Are you looking for tradition? Are you looking for something unique? Or are you just looking for the biggest and baddest? So that was really difficult for me. And I left off like 5 or 6 stadiums that I couldn't believe I was leaving off just because I couldn't fit them in. And thankfully, my name is not going to be attached to this. It's an anonymous vote. But it was really hard. And I think that, listen, I had Ohio Stadium in there. I had Ohio Stadium very high. I just think it's an incredible place to watch a football game. But there's a lot of great places for college football, and they're great for different reasons, which makes it difficult to rank them in 1 through 20.
I think so what I settled on is like there's a lot of places that when it's big game on campus are undefeated. Like night game almost anywhere that's big and traditional is going to be awesome. I think what sets Ohio Stadium apart from the other places I've been, and this was the case, I don't know if it's still the case as much now as it was 15 years ago when I was going to every single game, but the notion that a noon game against Youngstown State, everyone's in their seat, 105,000, 20 minutes before kick to watch the band. So game in, game out, the experience at Ohio Stadium is pretty great. At its best, I don't think it's as great as LSU. Florida's unbelievable. When they're humming, like Spurrier Urban, that place is unbelievable when they're humming. And then I have Penn State #1 as the best environment. But I know that and so I know one of the reasons that Oklahoma, one of their beefs, and talking to people when they first made that move to the SEC, was their games that they were getting on campus were leaving a lot to be desired for their fan base. And I assume Texas had a similar problem. It's not just wanting to go into a better league, but it's like, hey, man, like we have tepid home environments because we're not getting great games at our place. Our marquee game is played at the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, that's the difference. So, like, imagine if Ohio State, Michigan was at a neutral site, right?
Right.
Michigan, Ohio State's home schedules, especially in the old Big Ten, it's going to be a little bit different with Oregon and USC, UCLA, Washington. But, it'd be a lot of Indiana. It'd be a lot of Purdue. It'd be a lot of Rutgers. And, you'd have your Penn State game. Maybe Nebraska generates a little buzz. But, without the Michigan game or without the Ohio State game, if you're Michigan, it's just not the same. And it is true. Like Oklahoma, I don't know if you were down there in Norman for the Ohio State game back in, was that 2016? Like that was a pretty cool atmosphere. And they've had some of those over the years, but there was a lot of KU at 11 a.m. And fans were getting fed up with it. 11 a.m. Central, by the way.
Sure.
Fans were getting fed up with it because it just wasn't the same type of environment week in, week out that you got in the SEC, that you got in the Big Ten. And that played into the decision to move conferences. But, I mean, I've been to, Ohio State, Oklahoma in 2017 in Columbus. I know that game didn't go well for Ohio State, but that was an incredible atmosphere and really fun game. When Michigan has been a night game in Ohio Stadium, and even when it's not, is incredible. I was at I feel like 2006 was a night game for whatever reason.
It was 3:30. It bled into night.
It felt like a night game. It
bled into night.
Because it was night at the end. Yeah. So, I agree with you. And I think that, you forget about this when you're in the NFL. Like, the pageantry of college football is what makes these environments so cool. And the Ohio State band, the Aggie band, for Texas A&M, like that really makes the atmosphere cool. And I think it plays into the ranking that you were talking about.
There is a statement that I've long believed, and it is this, that there is nothing better than a big game on campus in sports. And I stand by it. And I've been to big-time NFL environments and crazy things in different sports, but there is a smell, there is a sound to it. You can feel it blocks away as you're walking towards the venue. And in many of these instances, a lot of these places we're talking about, buddy, Columbus is a major city, but there's a lot of these places are middle of nowhere places. And Penn State's like that. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere, and there's 110,000 people there. And you can feel it. And that's the beauty of it. I hope the game captures that. I think that they're trying really hard to.
The video game, yeah. I mean, I have not played that game. Well, it hasn't been around.
Didn't exist.
When was the last time it didn't exist.
Like
but even
14?
before that, I don't think I'd played that game in 25 years or 20 years. But I'll tell you what, they did a phenomenal job getting people excited with that trailer alone. And I think they did a good job capturing what you're talking about. And you are right. In covering the Big 12, there's a lot of those outposts. But you go to Lubbock at night, it's insane. You go to Stillwater, it's insane. You go to Ames, Iowa, Jack Trice Stadium. When they play the Hawkeyes there, it's insane. Kansas State is another great place to watch football. So it's not just the big cities. I mean, these small towns are really cool for college football in terms of the environment, and you can't beat it.
I want to ask you about the program that you used in the headlines in the last week, Oklahoma, near and dear to your heart. Venables gets an extension, so I'm wondering, my hunch is, hey, let's make sure we have momentum going into the SEC. We believe in our coach. And then the other part of that I want to ask you about was Lincoln Riley. Paul Feinbaum was on with us a couple of weeks ago and said he's a fraud. And he's trying to do some work this summer to try to repair his image a little bit, Lincoln is. Because it didn't go that well in year two. What do you make of the Venables extension, and then what do you make about Lincoln as a fraud?
Yeah, I mean, they are all in on Brent Venables, and I think they want to be, but they have to be. Like, this is, let's say Oklahoma moved on from Brent Venables, right, hypothetically. Like, who are they getting that is going to move the needle? I don't know who that would be. And they just went through this when Lincoln left, and I think Brent was clearly the obvious hire with his ties to Oklahoma, had, national championship, great defensive coordinator. They slipped a little bit toward the end, but he was, based on what he had done at Clemson, he had turned down other head coaching opportunities over the years. Obvious choice. And like, the cupboard was a little bit there when he got there. Like, they lost Caleb Williams to USC. They lost Spencer Rattler to South Carolina. Kind of had to rebuild the quarterback room. Defensively, we know what they have been, the last 10 years. They have not been very imposing on that side of the ball. So I think they're trying to get their ducks in a row and showing as much strength as they can going into the SEC for, NIL, for recruiting purposes. And then I'll tell you, I would not be stunned if – now, I don't know if he has the same cachet to make it happen, but it wouldn't stun me if Lincoln looked around a little bit and potentially NFL opportunities should they come up. He went to USC to avoid what Oklahoma is getting ready to encounter, and now USC is encountering some version of that by its move to the Big Ten. Lincoln really enjoyed being the big dog in the Big 12 and winning Big 12 championships every year and getting to the playoff. Going in the SEC, like the expectations are going to have to change, and he saw that coming. And I think he also saw Oklahoma had a long way to go to be ready to compete at that level week in, week out. Now we'll see how far Oklahoma's come and whether they're ready for it or not. So I went to USC kind of thinking, all right, I'll create the same version of what I had at Oklahoma in the Pac-12 and just dominate that conference. And, that hasn't gone to plan. And then on top of that, now you got to deal with Ohio State, Michigan. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be stunned if he looked around at NFL opportunities if they arose. Like, let's say things go disastrously wrong in Chicago. Like, would they look to reunite Lincoln with Caleb there? I think that would be something to watch. This is not any inside info, but speculating, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I could too, buddy. Good talking to you as always, my friend. Thanks for your time.
All right, see you, bud. Take care.
All right, that's our good buddy Jake Trotter, senior college football writer at ESPN, joining on the Bryan Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. Thing or not a thing up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We used to have a billboard with our host's face on it, but only ugly people work here now.
You mama say you ugly, hey!
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, Bobby Carpenter here from Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, announcing our $99 residential spring AC checkup. Carpenter and Bryant will do whatever it takes to prepare you for spring and summer. Check out Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric at carpentercolumbus.com.
Come play Skyline's 75th Coney Hunt game. Use your phone to search for virtual conies, tap to collect coins, and redeem them for exclusive Skyline merchandise at participating Skyline restaurants for a limited time. Details at skylinechili.com/Coney Hunt.
Do you know someone struggling to figure out their mental health benefits? The Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office is here to help. Find us at insurance.ohio.gov/GETMHIA or call us at 855-438-6442. Don't wait. The Mental Health Insurance Assistance Office can help you figure out what mental health insurance benefits may be in their plan. Call us today at 855-438-6442.
Attention, boating enthusiasts. Bennington Factory demonstration models are at Buckeye Lake Marina. These exclusive demo units are loaded with the features built to dazzle at shows and exhibits. And guess what? They're all brand new with a full warranty. Some have never even touched the water. Hold on to your mooring ropes because we're offering dock shaking discounts up to $40,000 only at Buckeye Lake Marina. These deals are hotter than the summer sun and won't last long. Visit Buckeye Lake Marina and make your dream boat a reality today. BuckeyeLakeMarina.com, where your adventure begins.
Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate, or going to the grocery store for milk instead of buying your own cow. You know there's an easier and better way. Save up to 25% when you bundle home and auto with Allstate.
Bundled savings vary by state and are not available in every state. Saving up to 25% is the countrywide average of the maximum available savings off the home policy. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Morning Juice.
We were watching Finding Nemo, and then we watched Bambi, and I was traumatized, and I had to turn it off. I'm like, well, William, you seem disinterested, and now I'm sad.
Morning Juice.
Sponsored by Affinity Whole Health.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Big things are happening on the east side. We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Honda makes the cars, Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for program details.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. Oh no, I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
When I'm not voicing Wendy's ads, I'm gaming. I stay up and fueled because Wendy's delivers late.
Are you recording a Wendy's ad? Come on!
Got 'em. Whatever you're up for, we're down. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's Delivery Late Night. Open till midnight or later.
Hours and delivery availability may vary.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
After putting up with Dom Tiberi for a decade, the broadcast gods gave Bo these two. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, time for a little thing or not thing. Hit it, fellas.
Thing or not a thing.
Sponsored by Apex Plumbing Pros.
All right, so I saw this as a piece of news that just kind of got dropped into those NBA trades yesterday, and it's from Woj, so he's pretty connected. The implications of the Rockets landing Suns picks. Houston wants to trade for Kevin Durant, and that becomes far easier if they can return the Suns picks that they gave up in the Durant deal to the Nets. Suns have said they're keeping Durant for now, but that could change next season. But now Houston has the picks to make the Suns whole again. Thing or not a thing?
So did Houston get in on the Knicks deal? Is that what happened? Did they get in on the Mikal Bridges deal? Like somehow that ended up having to be a 3-team deal?
Yeah, they got some sort of return out of it. And so they're reacquiring picks at this point, and so that's where this line of thinking comes from.
I think there's only one team. All right, this thing or not a thing? I think there's only one team that Durant could go to that would be a thing at this point in his career, and that's Oklahoma City. If he went back to Oklahoma City at this time, and they have the draft capital to do it, and went on that team and made that team whole again and chased a championship with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren and everybody on that team, that would be a thing. I don't see a scenario where him at this point in his career, and he's still a lethal scorer, like what the hell would he do with the Rockets? I mean, that's not even a playoff team. There's no point in that at all.
They put him on a Suns team that was in the NBA Finals, and they haven't done anything with it.
They haven't done anything since. So it's like, it's Oklahoma City. That's the one. And Oklahoma City has the future first-round picks. They've got a ton of them still. Oklahoma City could put a package together for Durant that would make sense for them and him, and then that would elevate them, I think, to another level. Him as like a secondary option to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, the idea of Durant going to Houston's not a thing, but I'm wondering the same thing as you, Bo. If it is Oklahoma City and they do have draft capital, if that's Phoenix saying, okay, this is what we're thinking. Is there anybody else out there that would be interested? Mm-hmm. And then if OKC would swoop in, he'd be like, oh no, we are, because with this being floated out so close to the draft, obviously it's tonight. You can hear it on ESPN Columbus with the first round. Is Mike Budenholzer like, yeah, I'm not interested in this? And Kevin Durant's like, I'm also not interested in this. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then you find something that makes sense for both teams, and this does feel would make sense for the Suns and the Oklahoma City Thunder, less the Rockets.
Because how many teams is Durant? So Durant is OKC,
Golden State, Brooklyn, Suns.
Golden State, Brooklyn, Suns. It's 4 teams. I mean, he's the best. He's got to be the best player ever played for. Well, Shaq played for a ton at the end.
Yeah, that's true.
But like in his prime, it's hard to find one who played for that many.
Yeah, LeBron got to 3, but that's
and
just
Shaq had 3 in his prime. He played Magic, Lakers, Heat.
Do we count 4 for LeBron since it was Cleveland, Miami, Cleveland, LA?
No, just 3. Yeah, that's wild.
Speaking of Cleveland, forever Cavaliers guard Donovan Mitchell showed up to Citi Field last night in Queens for a game between the Mets and Yankees. Wearing a Mets uniform, Mitchell took part in batting practice and mingled with Yankees and Mets players afterward. In the 8th inning of last night's game, the Yankees had the bases loaded with Aaron Judge up to bat. Mitchell tweeted out, if Judge hits a grand slam, I'm going to delete my Twitter. Moments later, Judge crushed a 4-run home run, also known as a grand slam. Mitchell then tweeted out GTFOH, which I can't really explain here what that means. Mets would hold on to win 9-7. Mitchell's Twitter still active. Thing or not a thing?
You know, everyone's going to run amok with the fact that he's in New York, obviously, but he's a New York kid. So he goes Mets over Yankees is his rooting interest.
I didn't think I could love him anymore.
Mets is a choice. It's certainly a choice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a very interesting thing and a pretty funny thing that actually happened the way that it played out. In your experience with J-Lo, are there certain people in certain parts of New York that obviously, like, once you get on Long Island, that's Mets country, and then is everything else Yankees?
That's
like what boroughs represent
the
what?
Queens is Mets because that's where Citi Field
Queens.
is and everything. So Queens is Mets as well. And usually we've talked about this before. It's usually Mets Jets and J-Lo is Jets Yankees.
Right.
His dad's from the Bronx. He loves the Yankees. And I know her mom likes the Jets too. But her dad loves the Jets as well. I'm not sure which one she took the Jets more, but that's how it worked. But I believe her mom's side is more Mets fans, but growing up the time we did, you weren't going to choose the Mets.
No, you weren't.
And as far as, I forgot where we started with this. He should have put, hey, if he hits a grand slam here, I'll re-sign with the Cavs, and then seen what kind of storm he could have lit off.
Yeah, but then when he goes down swinging, it's like all the Knicks fans are like, yeah, what now?
Well, it's weird because he sided with the Mets. You know, you mentioned he was like doing batting practice and stuff, but it was a Mets-Yankees game, so he got to double dip on both of them anyways for the game. The Sickos Committee, they're trying to help us out during these hot summer days. They recently passed along a recipe for something called mailbox lasagna, and this was from WCIA in Champaign, Illinois. Step 1, assemble lasagna in a small 5x9 pan. Use only fully cooked meat. Step 2, place lasagna in mailbox by 10 a.m. Leave 4 to 8 hours to cook. Step 3, return home, grab mail, grab dinner, enjoy your mailbox lasagna. Thing or not a thing?
I wonder if it would work.
The cheese would melt, right?
Like 8 hours. I guess the question would be, would the rest of the stuff be warm enough to make, I assume this is hard lasagna, or is it cooked lasagna? If it's hard lasagna, would a mailbox get hot enough
to cook the noodle
soft
part? Yeah,
to make the noodles soft. Everything else checks out for sure. God bless them; they're good. I like those guys.
I wonder if anybody's tried it. Like, we got to know how this thing tastes.
What if you came home and the mailman took your mailbox lasagna?
Took your mailbox lasagna. Got it sniped. It's in play. Certainly in play. You see a lasagna sit. The lasagna also is a choice in the dead of summer.
Right. To go outside and you're sweating, you're in your shorts and a tank top, you grab your mail and your tray of lasagna.
Also, if it's humid enough, does it get soggy?
Yeah. Lasagna is always one of those things. The juice is not worth the squeeze for me. Like, you get all the same flavors with other pastas versus all the layering and all that stuff.
J-Lo makes a great lasagna, but it's basically the same thing when she makes the stuffed shells. And that's what we normally go for. Or like a baked ziti can do the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
They all have similar without quite as much work. It is a First Friday. Hey, guys, coming up next. Winner here getting the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank. That is coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Can I tase Common Man in the nuts? Fine by us, but he may like it. Common Man and Tebow.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
It was a quiet night in Columbus, maybe a little too quiet. Me, Philip Flapper, plumbing detective. I was finishing up for the night when she walked in. Long hair. 2 legs, a couple of arms, a nose, elbows, pretty standard equipment for this neighborhood. I looked at her, she looked at me, and then we did that thing where we both spoke at the same time. What can I do for you? I'm sorry, that was awkward. We went on to talk about clogs, funny odors, water going down the drain too slow. This is above my pay grade, I told her, and gave her this website, apexpros.com. They're the pros who knows, the kinds of plumbers who don't mind getting their hands dirty. And believe me, what's down those pipes is dirty. Ugh. Call the pros. Apex Pros. And that was it. She walked out of my life, using those legs I told you about earlier.
Hi, it's Alex, the friendly Apex Bear from Apex Pros. Apex plumbers are the pros who knows. ApexPros.com.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC, subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Do summer projects your way with 4th of July savings from the Home Depot. With free delivery on over 2 million items, you can make the most of summer grilling and dig into gardening. Plus, get same-day delivery on thousands of products like power tools and storage to tackle any last-minute garage project. Summer your way with 4th of July savings from the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Order select and stock items by 4 p.m. subject to availability.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
Good morning. I'm Eric Reeser. We've got day baseball in Ohio's Queen City. Reds and Pirates go in their series rubber match today at 1:10. Graham Ashcraft to toe the rubber for the Redlegs. He was recalled from Louisville this morning after Nick Lodolo hit the 15-day DL with a blister. Cincinnati's in St. Louis for a 4-game series starting on Thursday. As for the MLB Best Guardians, Cleveland looks for their 8th straight win tonight in Baltimore. Guardians and Orioles go at 6:35. In the minors, the Clippers and Storm Chasers continue their series at Huntington Park tonight at 7:05. Omaha won last night 6-1. Guardians righty Gavin Williams will make another rehab start tonight for Columbus. Williams is working through a right elbow issue and could be called up to Cleveland in the next week. And the first round of the NBA draft is tonight at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The Hawks have the first overall pick, while the Cavs will select at 20. You can find draft coverage over on ESPN Columbus at 7 p.m. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Pull up a stool and ask the bartender for something neat, because Uncle Bo is on the radio. This is Bishop and Friends.
All right, final hour here on a First Friday Miracle edition of the program. Get your officially endorsed coming up at the end of this fine hour. Coming up right now, a little bit of Hey Guys. Hit it, fellas.
Nothing is off limits. Your participation is required. Just use the hashtag #HeyGuys and ask anything you want. Do it now.
Sponsored by Whiskey War by High Bank Distillery. Drink local, drink High Bank.
Yeah, here's what you get with High Bank. Home of the best blended whiskey in America, 3 years running. It's right here in town. They're ready to made, ready to drink, ready to pour. Midnight Manhattan is an absolute winner. Pick one of those babies up, put it on a shelf. You got folks over, pour one over a rock, and enjoy yourself. You're ready to go without all of the hassle of having to make it yourself. It is great. It's their twist on the classic Manhattan. You can find out more about High Bank's award-winning local spirits at a local liquor store near you and learn more about their Whiskey War line and the Midnight Manhattan at highbankdistillery.com. Drink the best, forget the rest with High Bank Distillery.
First one today comes from loyal listener Chris. Hey, guys, if you could play the NCAA football game with any team since they stopped making it, which team would you choose? Bonus, which group of 5 team will you use in dynasty mode?
Well, SMU, clearly. So I actually did this. The correct answer to this I did, because Braxton was in the game, so in the old game. And remember, I had it. I had the old game, and I had the Xbox 360. So in COVID, I had no idea that this was even the case. In COVID, I played the Justin Fields season, the 2020 season, because what you could do is someone was still doing the rosters. So I downloaded the active roster. So now I got the red eye thing that you get on the Xbox 360, so it's broken now. In fact, Bootsy was asking me about it yesterday. But in COVID, there was no sports to watch. So remember, I would put out like the screenshots, and then we would talk about them the next day. And I played with the Justin Fields Ohio State team, and that was pure joy. The 2019, you could play 19 or 20. So I did one season with 19 into 2020. that's as much fun as you could have. That was the most fun team to play with. Fields was unbelievable in that game.
Yeah, there's so many good Buckeye teams that are just would be so much fun that didn't get to be in the video game, and a bunch of players that you didn't get to play with. So having that ability to go back, we should go back and look down your Twitter timeline and see if we can find some of those stats. I think you did a few like screenshot pictures of the games at the end.
I did.
So that would be fun to look in to see what those were. As far as like non-Ohio State teams, I'm not a huge fan of the guy, but I think he'd be fun to play with. Kyler Murray's Oklahoma team, I think, would be a lot of fun because it's always more fun to roll the quarterback out, and if nothing's there, take off with him. And Kyler Murray, tiny little guy, super fast. I think that would be really cool. And then because I think I would want to see if I could control Sauce Gardner, go with one of those Cincinnati teams that he was on. And then you get to play with Desmond Ridder on the offensive side, and we'll see what Luke Fickell looks like in video game form. But I guess we'll see that on the Wisconsin sideline now.
They're doing. You were talking like they have like the stat or the rankings yesterday for the stadiums. They've got like a video that they're doing today on like the college atmosphere, and all the dogs, all the college football dogs, are just in that video on YouTube. You can, if you're watching the Fan, obviously on YouTube right now, but EA Sports has that one. It'd probably be a Georgia team, Georgia team most recently, just to see how fun the defense would be. Like if you could challenge yourself to shut them down and like win like 45-0 over some of the other SEC teams.
I wonder if in a video game you could even duplicate Burrow's season.
Yeah, like 2019
statistically,
LSU.
It's so crazy when you look back on it.
You might
like
have to jump up to 15-minute quarters.
Yeah, like even in a video game when you were throwing it all of the time, could you accomplish statistically what Burrow did in 19 in LSU?
And especially like with the way he spread it around and how how good the receivers were, because I find a lot of times in the video game you choose a favorite receiver and he kind of gets most of your stats.
Yeah,
anyways.
You'd have to work really hard to make sure that Chase and Jefferson both ate enough that represented what they actually did that year.
Will they also, I wonder, we've thought about the transfer portal as bringing players in. Will there be players who are like, you didn't throw to me enough, I'm entering the transfer portal in the video game?
I hope so.
Probably.
That's like,
it's pretty immersive.
There'll be like a satisfaction rating of your players.
Well, they do that in Madden. Like they have like, is your player happy? Like players get disgruntled. They do that in FIFA too. Like you'll have the manager has to deal with like guys on the Real Madrid roster. I don't play. They're like, hey, when am I going to get some run? Like, and then you have to have how you're going to answer the question. So I bet it's in there.
Next one up from Matt. Hey, guys, we've been trying to get our beer league softball league to allow us to have walk-up songs. The debate started of the best music to pick. If you had to pick, what would be your walk-up song?
Oh, man. So Matt wants, would they take like out I guess you don't have a boombox anymore. What do you take, like a Sonos out there? And then you would have it like
just
ready
carry a
to go?
Bluetooth speaker.
Walk-up song for beer league softball. Jeez. Isn't there the first thing that came to my mind, isn't there a Toby Keith song where it's as good once, or how's that song go?
I ain't as good as I once was.
But I'm as good once as I ever was. James used to say that all the time.
That one, yeah. Is that Toby Keith? I don't know.
It is.
Okay. That's the first one that came to my head on that side. Because I think if you go I think you have to go tongue in cheek. I think if you go Paint It Black or something like that, or Enter Sandman, it's like, okay, dude, it's beer league softball. Let's chill out. So I think my recommendation would be to go tongue in cheek on it.
I would definitely go some sort of 80s, late 70s rock, and so that gets me into the Van Halen and Def Leppard, and I've been really high on Def Leppard lately. I'm going to their concert again up in Cleveland this summer, and I think that I would go with Let's Get Rocked, is specifically the part where he goes, let's get the rock out of here, does the chorus, and then as I'm setting up, it's in the full part of the chorus. Let's get rocked, and then I'm ready.
I do the Cops theme.
Bad
with
boys,
sirens.
bad boys.
Yep.
Bad boys. Yeah, that's a good one. I also thought about Country Boy Can't Survive by Hank Williams Jr. The part where he says, I'd like to spit some beach nut in that dude's eye. I think that would be kind of fun.
Next one is from Zach. Hey, guys, if you can have the answer to any mystery, but you can't tell anyone the results, what would it be?
I would love. Now, this will date me, and you guys' generation probably isn't nearly as curious about this, but like the Kennedy thing, the real truth on that, if I had that and then I could just screw with people, it would be a lot of fun.
Just when people, when you hear conspiracies, be like,
yes,
maybe.
Actually, there are several friends of mine who if you even like somehow end up on that, like there was a bottle of IW Harper whiskey that was the guy who did the investigating, like it was his favorite whiskey, and I saw it at a buddy's house, and I'm like, well, there's a connection to that, to the Kennedy assassination, and one of my buddy goes, well, you want to know about that? And it was like 30, like ready. He had it ready, like it was like a presentation, like this is what happened, this is what it is. So that's like the one thing out there that I think for if you're a man, you're 40 or older, certainly there would be, if you had the answer to that, it would be fun to just screw with people on it.
I was thinking of things that were probably just a little bit more modern as I was going with it, and like a classic one, even though this is before our time, but like the DB Cooper one where he jumped out of the plane with $1 million after robbing a bank. Like, okay, that's interesting. And then I was like, no, there has actually been something since like elementary school or middle school, whichever one I learned it in, that it always intrigued me, and I've always wanted to know more about it. I could probably read a book on it. That's probably something I should do, but the Roanoke colony in Virginia. Mm-hmm. They went there and they set up, and then the people went back to Europe, England, whatever, and then they came back. Everyone's gone, and there's no clear indication of what exactly happened. There's just CROATOAN carved into a tree. Nobody knows. I mean, the real answer is probably that they were just attacked by Native Americans and it didn't go well for them. But if it is more interesting, I would love to know that. And I've always been interested in knowing more about it.
I'd probably want to do, I could do Stonehenge, right? Like figure out how that was put together. And I just completely mess with people. Be like, well, you never know if they had like a crane. Kind of crazy.
I've ever told you guys about infinite crane theory? No. So whenever I'm with my buddies, because it started on campus at Ohio State, whenever I'm with my buddies in a city and we see a crane, I go, that's a pretty tall crane. How do you suppose they get that down? And then they all start to roll their eyes because I go, well, probably another crane. But then how do they get that crane down? Another crane, and then there has to be a larger crane for each crane. Infinite crane theory.
Yeah.
Next one from Mike. Now, it technically says, what's up, fellas? But I'll let it slide this one time, Mike. It's, hey, guys. Is there any more underrated modern convenience than backup cameras on automobiles? Well, you tell us. I'm assuming all of your automobiles have backup cameras.
Yeah. So when I was, this had to be, it's probably 6th or 7th grade. First time I drove truck for harvest. And my Uncle Kel was like, you have to learn to trust your mirrors because you're backing a big truck full of grain. And what we would do is you'd have two 2x4s that you would back the closest back tire into, and you had a trailer, your truck, and you're dumping, and so like got to the point where I was damn good, like I could back anything into anything. If you can back a semi truck, you can back up anything, any type of car you're going to drive. So despite the fact that I have those things, I never use them because my habit is to use my mirrors the way that I always have. That being said, my wife uses them all the time, and they've probably saved us from several dents and dings in her vehicle. I promise you that. It's pretty good. I mean, they're pretty good.
Yeah, when like my dad's car has it, and so whenever I'm in the car with him and see him parking, either parallel parking or just backing up normal, it definitely is something that I'm like, yeah, I could see why this is not a let's just add things to cars and keep increasing the price. Like it definitely helps. I am somebody I'm not good at my mirrors, and actually J-Lo, who I basically taught to drive most of the time, she's good at looking at her mirrors. I am still a hand on the passenger side headrest, crane my neck all the way around when I'm backing up guy. I don't know. I just there's something about like trust the triangulation of the mirrors that I can't get. But you're right. When you can't see behind you, say you're moving and your whole back trunk is filled up, then you have to use your mirrors. And yeah, when you're not used to it, it becomes dicey.
I don't know if this is an underrated convenience, but air fryer popped into my head because there's still people out there who haven't like experienced this, and every time you talk to somebody who's just figuring it out for the first time, they're like, this thing's incredible.
Yeah. My wife bought one and thought it was going to be a game changer. Like she thought she was going to actually cook with it.
Oh no.
And she did it for like 2 weeks, and then it sat now for months.
I feel like
what's the best thing that I could cook on the reg in it? Because it feels like it's kind of a hassle to clean it.
It feels like the best thing to do is like frozen fried stuff and put it in there and get it faster. Like, it basically cuts the time that it would take to do it in the oven. Not quite to microwave level, but also better than microwave because microwave doesn't crisp anything.
Yeah, there's not much preheating. I think that mine's easy to cook. But I guess I can understand if you're just making, I don't know, like saucy chicken in it.
You know what I find difficult?
Well, the other problem with it is like there's a when you're trying to do something for 5 people,
you gotta get a big one.
It's a side dish thing. Like it can't be a main thing. So you'd
have to make it in sections.
In sections, yeah. Like that's the other issue.
What about an Instant Pot? We have an Instant Pot, and I can't figure it out. Every once in a while, sometimes the things come out good, and sometimes they don't. And we got to pick a winner.
Stews and pot roasts and those type of things, those are always winning on that side of thing when it comes time to winter. Is it Matt?
Who asked about the walk-up songs?
Yeah. That was funny. I like that. Let's go, Matt. Matt, you're the winner, and it's a big win. You get the $50 gift card to our great friends at High Bank Distillery. You get the free distillery tour for a tasting of up to 10 people. You can find High Bank's Distillery's award-winning local spirits at a liquor store near you. And stop by High Bank's 2 locations, Grandview, Gahanna. Enjoy their award-winning spirits for your next happy hour. Make your reservation at highbankco.com. CBS Sports made a very interesting decision, and it involves the Buckeyes. We'll get into that coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Another day is here, and you're ready for it. What to wear? Check. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Check. Planning for what's next and how to save for it? That's where Bank of America can help. For your financial to-dos, Bank of America has experts ready to help get you closer to your goals. Get started at one of our Central Ohio financial centers or 24/7 in our mobile banking app. Find a location near you at bankofamerica.com/talktous. What would you like the power to do? Mobile banking requires downloading the app and is only available for select devices. Message and data rates may apply. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. We believe that every sport should be epic. Every home run, every hit, every inning, every play. From the moments that are legendary to the ones that fly under the radar.
See for yourself when you sign up today and get $150 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only, must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
We always come through for you when you need us to. That's ECO's promise to you. And for AC repair and installation, that means today, not tomorrow. If you have an air condition breakdown, we'll get a tech out to your home today. Or we'll give you a year's EcoFied Advantage membership for free. And make no mistake, we're a repair, not replace company. Our techs are trained to give you all your repair options. Sometimes, though, it just makes more financial sense to replace. And that's where we really come through for you when you need us to. Because we'll replace your AC system same day. No sleeping overnight in a hot, humid house. Or we'll take $1,500 off the cost of your new system and provide you with portable AC units for your bedroom. That's what coming through for you when you need us to means. So if you need AC repair, call ECO for same-day service. We'll get your home cool again. We'll make it happen today.
At GetEco.com.
If you're obsessed with fantasy sports and gambling things, we have the slightly above average radio show for you. On the Money with Dave Biddle and Scotty Vegas.
Presented by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus.
Wednesday night at 8 on The Fan.
At Hollywood Casino Columbus, you're always in the driver's seat. Don't miss our $50,000 trucker cash giveaway at Hollywood Columbus. Pick between driving off in a brand new 2025 Ram 1500 or $40,000 in Penn slot play or $30,000 in cash. Grand prize awarded on Saturday, June 29th. Earn entries on your slot and table gameplay all month long. For more information, visit HollywoodColumbus.com. Must be 21 or over to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Hey, welcome to the IKEA Midsummer Sale.
Hello.
Save up to 50% on outdoor furniture and indoor essentials and have your best summer.
Oh, how about storage for my inflatable flamingos?
We've got you covered. Let's turn your space into a summer haven with space for birds.
Awesome.
Visit us in store from June 12th to July 9th or at IKEA-USA.com/midsummer. Offer valid dates may vary. U.S. only while supplies last. Selection may vary by store and online. See store and IKEA-USA.com/midsummer for complete terms. Restrictions apply.
Low Fiber Business is now in Ohio, and your business is our priority.
Glo Fiber delivers reliably fast, custom, and prepackaged internet plans to meet the growing needs of your business. And our dependable 24/7 personal support means your business stays connected. Glo Fiber is here, and we mean business. Find out more at 833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiberbusiness.com today. Glo Fiber Business is not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Every year, Adult Protective Services receives thousands of reports of elder abuse, exploitation, and neglect in Ohio. When a report is received, Adult Protective Services can check in and provide help if needed. If someone you know is showing signs of elder maltreatment, don't hesitate to call 855-OHIO-APS. Let's work together to help every Ohioan age safely.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Today, look for clouds and showers after lunchtime. High 82. The clouds and showers move out, though, shortly after 6 p.m. in the evening. Tonight, we get down to about 62 degrees, and on your Thursday, look for sunny skies with a high of 81. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
If you say something with enough confidence, it must be true. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Well, it's coming up. It's the Schmitz Cardale Jones Celebrity Softball Game. Why picnic when you can Schmitnick? It's presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. It is July 20th. It's at 6:30. It's at Huntington Park. Current Buckeye players, former Buckeye players. Cardale's captaining one team, Emeka Ibuka captaining the other. The tickets are $10, and they're available today at BuckeyeCruise.com. It's a fun night. It's a really fun night. And some of these dudes can flat out rake, but also just it's a really cool night for a fun cause. So for enjoyable for everybody involved. Those guys put on a show. They have a lot of fun with it. They're good showmen. CBS Sports did a very interesting thing yesterday. This happened at the end of our show. CBS Sports announced that they were the what do they call this thing? Is
the
this
CBS Sports Classic.
Classic. Okay, CBS Sports Classic. Very, very good name. So it's a college basketball game where it's been the same teams for a while, and they kind of rotate who you play. And it's Kentucky, and it's UCLA, and it's North Carolina, and it is Ohio State. And it's a college basketball game that's played sometimes at a neutral site. I want to say one of the years it was the Buckeyes played their game against Kentucky up in Cleveland, if memory serves. But they've moved it around to neutral sites. This year it's at Madison Square Garden, and they chose to run it on December 21st. Now, if you're saying to yourself, well, wait a second. So that's a Saturday, mind you. That's a pretty big sports day already. You would be correct. It is a pretty big sports day already. It is the first round of the college football playoff. There will be 3 college football playoff games taking place on that day. They'll be played at noon, 4, and 8. The first college football playoff game will be played on that Friday in prime time. And then you'll have the 3 games throughout the day. So you're going to go head-to-head with that. But that's not all. It is also the battleground with which Roger Goodell said, hey, college football, be careful, because I will squash you if I so choose. And he put Patrick Mahomes against C.J. Stroud in the first window at 1 o'clock. And then in the second window, he put the Steelers and the Ravens. So he went as big as you can go, save for putting the Dallas Cowboys on there on a Saturday to go head-to-head against college football. And it got me thinking, what the hell was CBS Sports thinking? And their answer to this would be, look, we have the rights to this. It's college basketball. It's better than what we would otherwise air on a Saturday in December, this close to the holidays. What I'm curious about, though, is will we ever get to a point, and I think this is a rhetorical question because I do think we will, where instead of playing something like this on a Saturday, CBS put something like this in prime time during the week. So we're seeing this with the NBA and their new deal, where NBC is doing Sunday night basketball in America, whatever they're going to do with their NBC package once that comes home to roost in a couple of years. But is it going to start to make more sense that if you're CBS Sports and you have something like the CBS Sports Classic, that rather than running original programming on a Thursday night or a Wednesday night, which quite frankly is not rating anymore, not to the extent that it used to. Would it make more sense to put these basketball games in there? To play a game at 7 and a game at 9, or a game at, if you got to stay East Coast primetime, go at 8 and 10 and bleed into the late shows. Is that the better play than having these games be sacrificial lambs on a Saturday up against college football in the NFL? Because I got news for you. Like, this is our bread and butter. Like, Buckeye basketball versus Kentucky, for sure. But to go head-to-head against the NFL in the college football playoff, the very first incarnation of it, this is suicide. It's rating suicide.
Even with 2 TVs, you're going to have to make a choice there. Like, even if you set up a third, you can't really watch 3 things at once. The 2 is enough. Hey, you maybe could go to a fun casual joint and hope that they've got it all on the TVs. And I would imagine here in Columbus that you would be able to find it. But if you're not in one of the locales of these teams, it's going to be all football anywhere that you go out. So, yeah, I don't get why CBS is doing it, or if they had already picked out this date and then it just everything fell. You know, because the college football playoff, that was decided last year, and maybe the CBS schedules these years out in advance because you got to make sure that you have Madison Square Garden or whichever arena that you're going to. So that could be a huge factor with it as well. But you're right about network television shows. They don't rank or they don't rate like they used to. And in December, a lot of those staffs, they'll do like a Christmas episode, but they'll get like a couple weeks off a lot of times, and you'll get reruns in those weeks. So if you're talking the week of Christmas, CBS probably isn't even airing any new programming in the weekday. So I think that would be a better bet for them, and maybe even get people excited, play it. Instead of having people, hey, do you want to watch 4 hours of basketball? Put them on back-to-back nights, and I think that could maybe even net you something. Because it's not a tournament. They don't have to, the winners of the 2 games don't play each other after that. It's just 2 games. Now you'd have to get the arena for 2 nights, so that might be a logistical nightmare. But I think that would even work better. Especially, I mean, it definitely work better than going up against all of this football. They're going to lose in this, that's for sure.
They're going to get drilled.
Well, I know the weekdays in the lead up to Christmas, they've got like Frosty the Snowman, and they've got some of the Christmas classics, but I wonder, just, you know, with this, especially for us, like if you think about the fan and airing Ohio State football games, like, damn it, Ryan Day, you better get that first round bye.
Oh my God, can you imagine that? Like, just think about that. Here's the deal. Well, and do we know the tip times on the basketball? They're in the afternoon, right? I think they're going afternoon.
Noon or 3:30 always feel like one of them.
If for some reason, I think you're right. If for some reason Ohio State did not get a bye, they would be playing either Friday night or Saturday night. You would never put the Buckeyes in the early afternoon or late afternoon window.
I've got the 2 times, because Kentucky announced it. The Wildcats and Buckeyes will meet at Madison Square Garden with a tip-off scheduled for 5:30. That's the second game. UCLA and North Carolina go at 3. It's the worst time they could have planned for it.
Is that Mahomes-Stroud?
It's right in the middle of Mahomes-Stroud.
Is at 1. It's the end of that game, and it's the start of
Ravens. Yeah.
I mean, the Mahomes-Stroud game and the Steelers-Ravens, those are going to have monster playoff implications. I mean, it'd be stunning if they didn't. Those teams, it's going to be for seeding. It's going to be for all of it. Like, Goodell took out like I said, save for the Cowboys, he played the biggest hits you can play on a Saturday up against college football. So college football's reaction to this is going to have to be, yes, sir, maybe have another. They're going to play the marquee game. I would think you'd play the marquee game Saturday night. The best one Saturday night, the second best one Friday night, and then the sacrificial lambs will be, that's going to be that group of 5 game.
And the
noon.
Like the other champion who did, like the ACC or Big 12 champion that didn't get a bye.
Or Ole Miss and Penn State or something.
No, because, those ones presumably will, because there'll only be 5 conference champions now.
The 4 power conferences.
Yeah, they're going to get the buys basically all the time.
Which actually sucks, because a Big 12 team would be perfect on the Saturday afternoon. Like, the Big 12 champ is not going to rate better than the second best team out of the SEC or the Big 10.
No,
for sure. So somebody's going to, same thing potentially with the ACC. That would be the case. So there's going to be a big time brand that's going head to head with the NFL, and that's college. We get back to the thing we say all the time. Like, they've got to get this thing sorted out. They cannot fight this fight.
We should come back that Monday. What would that be? December 23rd, and just be like, Buckeye basketball. That's what we were locked into this weekend.
I mean, have you thought about that? Just think about that, the holiday time.
It's going to be
like
wild this year.
2 days before Christmas, we're going to be doing a Reaction Monday show on what happened the first weekend of the playoff. Like, a lot of people take that time's off. Like, this is a mess. This just exacerbates it, and it proves how they failed to make any sense or think at all about launching a 12-team playoff. It's like, oh, we're doing this, and we're going to shoehorn it in. There was no thought to the calendar or if it made any damn sense, and it doesn't.
It's interesting with the calendar, too, because this was quietly like at the end of this article, because it's the limit on countable football coaches that the NCAA changed, the oversight committee changed, but they also approved additional recruiting calendar changes recommended by the FBS and FCS oversight committees, including moving football's early signing date to the first week of December. So still not in a good spot, but that should alleviate some of that scheduling headache.
Mess. Yeah, utter mess. Just didn't think it through. They'll have to redo it when they redo this contract in a couple of years. All right, we have two instances where cities are saying, yeah, we'll pay for that when it comes to an NFL stadium. Could it be a harbinger of things to come here in the Buckeye State? That's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Raising Cane's iced tea is the official iced tea of me, iced tea. Now, I've heard some people don't order iced tea with their box combos. I've also heard some people spontaneously combust. Sip on that for a while. Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
Don't miss a minute of the action on the diamond with ESPN Bet. The exclusive sportsbook of ESPN is the only place to find offers and promotions from your favorite ESPN shows and personalities, including daily odds boost and home run specials all season long. New users can get a bet reset up to $1,000 in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. Download ESPN Bet today. What a play. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The best of two leagues meet again this summer. Catch the stars of MLS and Liga MX as they show off their skills at the 2024 MLS All-Star Skills Challenge presented by AT&T. Tuesday, July 23rd at Lower.com Field. Tickets start at $25. Get your tickets now on Ticketmaster.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288. 800-893-2288.
See some football players try to play softball? Join us for Schmidt's Cardale Jones charity softball game.
Why picnic when you can Schmidtnick? And presented by Monogram Homes and the U.S. Air Force. The Fan.
Is foot pain keeping you from living life to its fullest? Life is too short to be dealing with foot, knee, or back pain. Come into the Good Feet store and learn how the Good Feet heart support system can help you get pain-free. Call 880-9255 or go to goodfeet.com to make an appointment.
1-877 Cars for Kids. K-A-R-S Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best. But unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month. And the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check them out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Now at White Castle, you can get 12 chicken rings for just $3.99. Tender on the inside, crispy on the outside. Choose from classic, Hidden Valley Ranch, or new smoky barbecue. White Castle. Follow your crave. Limited time only at participating castles. Tax not included.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at mountaindewgaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Saw this from, I want to say it's FanDuel, and it was Mike Vick in the Madden 2004. That he was unfair. He's on the cover of this one. And I've said before, it's a controversial take for the people. I think he's the best video game athlete of all time. I think juxtaposed to the other players in that game, the other stars in the game, in the Madden game, he was exponentially better compared to his peers in the game than even Bo was in Tecmo Super Bowl. And our good buddy Bill Bender weighed in on it as well. He agreed and said QB Eagles, and QB Eagles was unbelievable in Tecmo Super Bowl. He was absolutely outrageous. He was.
That was Randall Cunningham.
Yeah,
right?
There were several guys who didn't sign the NFLPA stuff. Like Barkley wasn't in the early NBA games either. It was like forward 34 or whatever. So that he wasn't in the game. I want to say Jordan could have been in that mix as well.
The inverse one where Griffey made his own video game and had a bunch of fake players around him in the game.
Stupid. None of that stuff works when you do that. Like you want to play with the real people. The other problem with Tecmo Super Bowl is the difference between Bo Jackson and, let's say, Christian Okoye wasn't that big of a difference. Okoye actually had a bigger truck stick. They didn't have that at that time, but he had more of that. Barry Sanders was also unbelievable. And sneakily, Lawrence Taylor may have been the best in the whole game. He was unblockable around the edge. You could not block him if you went outside with Lawrence Taylor. So I think that is the correct take, that Mike Vick in 04 was the best when it came to that. We had some news in the last couple of days on the NFL stadium front. First, it was Charlotte. Monday night, the Charlotte City Council voted to approve a joint $800 million stadium renovation plan with the Carolina Panthers that ties the team to the city for the next 20 years. Under the agreement, the city will pay $650 million toward the renovation of Bank of America Stadium in return for David Tepper, keeping the team in Charlotte through 2045. Tepper will pay the remaining $150 million up front, which he has, honestly, in the seat cushions of his couch.
20.6 billion. That is the net worth, according to the internet, of David Tepper.
Yeah, he's nuts. So, well, let me do this other one first, then I'll ask this question because I don't have the answer to it. Jacksonville yesterday, the Jaguars in the city have agreed to contribute $625 to the renovation. The city has also agreed to pay $150 million over the next 2 seasons on maintenance and repairs to prepare the stadium for construction. That means the city will be responsible for 55% of the total construction cost of the stadium in Jacksonville. Shad Khan's net worth, not small either. Speaking of Illinois,
$11.9 billion, by the way.
Okay, so he's 11.9 and Tepper's 20 point whatever. So I guess the first thing before we get into the Browns angle on this, where were these teams going to move to? For the longest time, Jacksonville's threat was we're going to go to London. And for some time, Shad Khan was in an agreement to buy Wembley. And so you said, okay, well, that makes sense. He could put a team in Wembley and he would, and then that makes all the sense in the world. They play over there all the time. They're leading into that. We felt like it was just a matter of time before Jacksonville became the London Jaguars. Even the name makes sense, for crying out loud. So that's one that to me seemed like there was an option there. But where exactly was Tepper going to take the Carolina Panthers, and where now would Khan take the Jacksonville Jaguars?
I don't know. The city of Jacksonville did put in a stipulation also there that limits the Jaguars to one home game annually in London. Unless mandated by the NFL to participate in an additional international game every 4 seasons. So I guess it can get up to 2 once every 4 years. And that's only during seasons in which the team has 9 home games. So every odd year. So they protected themselves a little bit from sending so many games over to London. But as you said, the idea of that materializing had kind of gone to the wayside, and it wasn't working out for Shad Khan. So no, I don't know what the threat was from Jacksonville. And for Carolina, I don't remember there ever being a threat. It wasn't even really anything. It just all of a sudden, like, here's a bunch of money for you.
They're worried about it.
Well, this is what's interesting to me when I was reading both of these in the last 2 days, because it stood out to me where the vote came from and where the vote didn't come from. Because in Kansas City, the vote went to the people. And they voted it down pretty unanimously that said, no, we don't want to increase our taxes and do that. Both of these were city council votes to just allocate the funds and figure out how we're going to do it. And we'll tax all the tourism and everything. Yeah. And it's okay. But I think that's a sneaky thing that these owners are going to try to do. Go past the people, go straight to the city council now and just have them vote on it. And that's what I think is happening. The city council, I don't know, they want to keep those guys happy. But the Tepper deal, I mean, that is crazy.
They could grease the skids too on that if you're ownership.
Yeah,
you could just
that's
deal
true.
With the council, that's easy.
A lot cheaper to give those guys $100,000 or something to their political fund. Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't know where the threat. It seems like in both of these agreements, there was a great worry or concern that they were going to lose the team to somewhere else. Start asking yourself, where in North America is there not an NFL team that could support one? And take Toronto out of it, and I'll wait. I don't know where else. I mean, sometimes people say like that Austin, San Antonio area is one that doesn't have one. Don't give me St. Louis. They've had 2. That ain't it. I don't know that it's not San Diego. You're not going to. No one's building a stadium in California anytime soon. Where is there not NFL football that requires it?
Birmingham, Alabama.
There just isn't. There's not. The markets are full. There's nowhere to go.
Could like Louisville support an NFL team?
No, it's not big enough. You have to have so much corporate money. And that's the thing that's tricky about Jacksonville, because quite honestly, Columbus is far more equipped to handle an NFL team than Jacksonville is. We have way more corporate money than Jacksonville does. That's always been a weird choice. What they were banking on was the hope that that they would get both North Florida and Georgia, but that they would also be able to pull people from Orlando up to Jacksonville. And that just didn't happen. It never happened.
No, they are a Jackson. They are probably like the most insular NFL team of all. Like, there are not Jacksonville Jaguars fans in the wild outside of Duval County. That's anywhere. I just hope that in this renovation that they keep the pool in the end zone. That's fun. Just keep it.
I wonder if to test a city's viability with an NFL team, they throw a UFL.
Well, that's what St. Louis is trying to do.
They give a franchise. They say, here, you try this. If this works a little bit, we'll do more research into your area. But it does feel like they're maxed out in North America.
Yeah, Toronto's the only one that's out there that hasn't been done. And I know Buffalo would fight it. But even with St. Louis, and James talked about this when he played there, St. Louis had a great fan base and a stadium. But like Jacksonville, there's no corporate money. You have to have so much corporate money to make it work. With the suites and all of that stuff, and there just isn't in a city like St. Louis, and they've had 2 different teams on the Browns side of it, because they're going to be next. They're going to be the next one that gets a stadium done, and theirs is actually far more timely than even Kansas City's, because the Chiefs can't go anywhere for a while. The Browns have already tried this. They've tried the city council thing. They've gone there. They get hit over the head with it over and over again. There was 2 proposals that they had. One that was a 50-50 split with the city for a dome or a not dome to keep it up on the lake. The plan, they are going. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to be near the airport, and I think that they're going to probably do most of it on their own. Now, if the state's willing to give them $600 million, I'm sure they'll take it. But I'm thinking that it will be more closely aligned even with the Kroenke deal that he did in Los Angeles than anything else. In exchange for that, they will control all of it. So they're going to have this land. They bought this land. It's by the airport. They're going to try and build Browns World is what they're going to try to do in that area. So we'll see, kind of how that goes. But I don't think that I think they already went down this road over the course of the last couple of years with the city council up there. And the city council, they kept running into roadblocks. Said, fine, we're going somewhere else. Go ahead, Reese.
And it feels like they'll say, the Haslam's, well, we have this land. Would you like to develop on it? And people are going to be like, oh, yes, we absolutely would like to develop on that. And that's where they'd recoup.
It's also important to keep in mind that both Jacksonville and Charlotte, those were votes for renovations that are under $1 billion. We're building a stadium now is going to cost 1.5, maybe $2 billion, depending on how much you want to do.
$2 billion for domed, around a little more than $1 billion for not. But they'll do domed up there. I mean, they see it. You saw the news with Indianapolis. Like they got they paid like $5 million. They got WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and one other big wrestling event, all in the next year and a half. And the Rumble. Yeah, they got 3 of them in Indy in the next year and a half. So there's that type of stuff. There's Big Ten football playoff, the championship games, Super Bowls, all that
Final
stuff.
Fours,
all of it. You can't turn your back on all of that stuff. And in the meantime, if you're familiar with the geography up there, they're going to leave, that lakeside with that stadium is going to be a big-time project, and I don't know what the hell you do with it, because the Browns are under no obligation to tear it down. You can't have that thing just sitting there. So what a mess that thing's going to be in the end. We get you 3 things you're officially endorsed coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Death, taxes, and beating Michigan every damn year. This is your flagship home for Ohio State football. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
At UDF, our made-from-scratch peach ice cream is back with a bonus. When you buy 3 48-ounce cartons, you can quickly stack an extra 20 cents a gallon in gas savings. UDF peach ice cream, made for you. While supplies last with an opted-in UDrive account.
Welcome to Meijer. This week, you can buy 5, save $5. With so many mouths to feed, I love the buy 5, save $5 sale. Yeah, and don't forget, you can mix or match more than 1,500 items, like Pepperidge Farm Classic Buns, Coca-Cola or Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable, and Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce.
Ooh, I'll look for those and lots more. Thanks.
Buy 5, save $5 this week at Meijer, and pay the same low price in-store and online. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
So, you've noticed something wrong with your roof. You don't know where to begin, and the thought of finding the right company to handle this important piece of your home is a bit overwhelming. Let Newman Roofing make it easy for you. First, start with a company who has built a trustworthy reputation for the last 32 years. We've got you covered. Then, when you ask us what makes us different from other roofing companies, we can tell you 3 things: our policies, customer experience, and most importantly, our people. At Newman Roofing, we have a team of professionals that take pride in their work, focusing on making sure every single question you ask gets answered thoroughly and thoughtfully, every step of the way. After all, we're here to support you, so you understand what's going on with your roof and you can make the best decision to fit your needs. Let us be the difference for you. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit us online at newmanroofing.com. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Looking to sell your home? Don't pay 6% commission. Call my guys at Sell for 1% Realtors. They're full service, not a do-it-yourself kind of thing. On average, customers save over $10,000. Give them a call, 614-451-6616. That's 451-6616.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box, Bianca.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey there, friends. It's Bo Bishop here, and I want you to picture this. Cannonballs into the lake, s'mores at the fire pit, sleeping under the stars. Well, that could be you when you visit my friends at RCD RV. RCD is having its summer open house, and you don't want to miss it. Huge RV savings all month long in June. New travel trailers as low as $14,995. The area's widest selection, over 600 new and pre-owned RVs in stock. Start your summer adventure at RCD RV. Visit one of the 3 Central Ohio locations or online anytime at rcdrv.com.
I have done in my career literally thousands of joint replacements.
Meet Dr. Mitchell Scheinkup, National Medical Director at QC Kinetics, an acclaimed orthopedic surgeon who now advises patients try all they can do to avoid the knife and consider regenerative medicine.
I myself was able to continue skiing for 10 years after my knees started to be a problem because I accessed regenerative medicine.
Now, after 20 years of study, research, teaching, publications, and clinical experience, Dr. Scheinkup is regarded as one of America's America's true pioneers.
This is the future of medicine.
Dr. Sean Kopp came to QC Kinetics after seeing what they were doing around the country, helping tens of thousands of patients get lasting relief from joint pain with no surgery and no drugs.
QC is so far ahead of the game in its science, its protocols, its people, its facilities.
Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Big things are happening on the east side. We're ready to deal. Come negotiate during May's Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Lower payments, better financing, more value for any trade. Shop lindsayhonda.com and see new Hondas with thousands in savings plus many other deals. We'll work hard to get you a payment you can afford. Now during May Dealin' Days at Lindsay Honda. Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. See lindsayhonda.com for program details.
Want to know anything about the Fans contest, how to win, or what's up for grabs? Check out 971thefan.com. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Keep your friends close and your producers closer. You're listening to Bishop and Friends.
Hi, Reese. What do you have on the poll?
Daily Fan Poll asks, where do you rank Ohio Stadium across college football in difficulty for the opponent to play in? Top 3, top 5, top 10, outside of top 10 are your options. 29% of you say it's a top 5 toughest place to play in college football. 28% say it's top 3. 29% also say it's top 10. 12% say outside the top 10.
You know, it's interesting. For the longest time, those big out-of-conference games didn't go our way. We lost to Texas, lost to Southern Cal, lost to Virginia Tech, lost to Oklahoma. Like, those are all night games here.
Yeah, and in a lot of them, you fared better on the road. USC is the only one who won.
Beat Texas. USC won both.
Yeah.
But yeah, the other ones went.
Beat Oklahoma down there.
Beat Oklahoma down there. Yeah. So it worked. We're better on the road. I've always said this. That place can get nervy if it starts to go bad, and it can almost work against the good guys in a big game. I've seen it many, many times, as many of you have as well. All right, it is a First Friday. Hit it.
Bishop and Friends present First Friday, officially endorsed because everyone deserves 2 Fridays.
Sponsored by Sugar Shannara Accident Attorneys. We go to war for you at warforyou.com. That's warforyou.com.
We drink for the wrong reasons. My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
When I got back from Hawaii on spring break, I did the Jimmy Buffett cocktail, which was the combination of the rum and the heavy lime and the coconut water. And in the summer, I find myself gravitating on the weekends in a cocktail to a tequila is typically the way that I tend to go. It just feels a little bit more like summer to me. And so what I did is, I did this last weekend. I took the portions of the Buffett cocktail and applied them with tequila, and it worked pretty well. So a Yeti, a highball glass, something like that, fill it with rocks, 2 ounces, 3 ounces of tequila, whatever you're interested in. I would go a Blanco on this. I think that's probably the best bet. If you get into the Añejo, it gets a little bit sweet. Coconut water to the rim, and then a heavy lime squeeze. I'm talking like maybe 2 lime juice type squeeze. The balance works out very well. It's refreshing. It's smooth. On a hot day, it works. It was really hot on Saturday, and that's when I made it. It is. I don't have a name for it, but it's your officially endorsed on this fine First Friday is that concoction. Time for 3 things. Hit it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3 things.
Sponsored by Custom Air. Custom Air. Custom Solutions. Custom Comfort.
Number 1 for me. So we got Buddy Garrity in December. And when he was a pup, and when I was teaching him to go to the bathroom outside, it was frigidly cold. And so he would just go like right outside the door. Well, that's been kind of the place he's kind of always gone since, is right outside the door. So obviously it's killing the grass right outside of the walkout. So I'm thinking to myself over the last couple of weeks, like, all right, let's see if I can retrain him to like go in the mulch or go in the pine straw or go away. It's been proven to be far more difficult than I ever thought to get him to do it. So much so that I'm like, I will take him over there and I'll say, go potty, go. And he just looks at me like, no, Dad, I'm not. And what occurs to me is he does not like to go potty on something that is not grass. It's the only way that he knows. And so the best that I can do is I can get him to go like well away. That's where we're at now, is training him to go well away from the house. That's my plan right now, but he's not taking to it. He's got to be on the grass or he ain't going.
I talked about how the NCAA Division I Council approved some new rules yesterday, and the big one was that they are going to allow all football staff members to provide coaching instruction during practice and games, a change that removes the restrictions of the NCAA's previous maximum of 11 countable coaches, but it does maintain that only 10 assistants and the head coach are allowed to recruit off campus. The first thing on that is I'm buying into the theory that nothing happens unless the big schools want it to happen, basically, in college football at this point. And they're going to use this they're really going to mess around with titles for people, because now they're going to have guys who are on the road all the time, and guys who are back here who are analysts can be the on-field coach. And they're going to figure it out so that guys can be out recruiting more often. But the other thing is, with this, there is no cap on it still. They didn't just expand it. They just said, do whatever you want. And this is another time of the NCAA just throwing their hands up and saying, you know what? Just do whatever you want. I'm sure we'll figure it out and the market will correct itself. No, come up with a rule. For once, come up with a rule that works and makes sense, instead of just saying, okay, everybody can transfer. Everybody can make money off the collectives. Everybody can coach on the field. The NCAA's point now is everything can be done.
They lack the adequate resources, is what they would say. What could you expect them to do? I learned today that for EA's College Football 25, they're not going to do Jump Around at Camp Randall or Enter Sandman in Blacksburg because those songs are just too expensive to license. They're going to have Enter Sandman, or Enter Sandman's also not, so that's what I just said. But Zombie Nation for Penn State, Sandstorm, Tsunami, and Mo Bamba for Michigan are going to be in EA Sports College Football 25.
Yeah, Enter Sandman's there's a price on. I mean, you can understand that. Number 2 for me.
They're the ones who fought Napster.
That's true. Yeah, that's right. Number 2 for me. NBC's, I guess his big celebrity crush is Livy Dunn. I think that's fair to say. So he keeps me apprised of all Livy Dunn content over the course of the year. And he hit me with one, and it was Livy Dunn with Paul Skeens, who she's been dating for about a year now, he tells me, on a riverboat. And she is in a scantily clad bikini, posing with him on a riverboat, driving around Pittsburgh. And you just think to yourself, if you're just a regular Pittsburgher and you're driving around and you look down on the river and you see that driving by, how do you wrap your head around that? And you think about how far those two have come in a year? Nuts.
Yeah, good debate on who has the better fastball in that relationship.
Fair. And this is damn good.
This happened to me this morning. They weren't going too slow that it was egregious, but why get a Maserati to go 60 on the highway? I'm sure that the do what you want and that's fine, but I'm sure that the insurance is higher. Obviously, the get-in price to own a Maserati is higher, and a semi-truck was passing it. And I'm like, so why even have the sports car if you're just going to go the minimum speed?
Rothman and Ice are up next from 12 to 3. ESPN's Adam Schefter is going to be joining the boys at 12:33.
Yeah, and in order for those guys to get going on time, we're good. Enjoy your first Friday. Act accordingly. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
During this 10-second promo, Rothman will lose money gambling on something.
People like you come here and blow the family nest egg that built this town.
Rothman and Ice.
Weekdays from noon to 3.
The Fan. This is a Fan Action Update.
The Cleveland Guardians have the best win percentage in Major League Baseball, but only have the 8th best odds to win the World Series at 20-1. The Dodgers are the betting favorite at plus 320. Phillies and Yankees are both plus 450. The Atlanta Braves are 9-1. Orioles plus 950. Mariners 17-1. Astros 18-1. And the Reds are currently 120-1 to win the World Series. For your Action Update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. You probably heard me talk about Dr. Mark Levy's custom-fit oral appliances to help treat sleep apnea and how they are so much better than using those bulky, uncomfortable CPAP machines. Well, I've been talking about it for years, and the FDA just recently announced a recall of over 18 million CPAP masks. Yikes! These CPAP masks, the ones with magnetic headgear clips, can potentially interfere with certain medical devices. Pacemakers, implantable defibrillators, neurostimulators, aneurysm clips. And if that happens, that can cause injuries not only to yourself if you use these masks, but also your partner as well. Sleep apnea is no joke, and as I've been saying, it affects everyone in the home. So if you've been diagnosed with sleep apnea and you can't tolerate your CPAP machine anymore, or, just flat out worried it could possibly do harm to you, that sort of thing, call Dr. Mark Levy today for your custom oral appliance at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's right. Dr. Mark Levy, 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or book an appointment online at sleepbettercolumbus.com.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Paid actor portrayal.
Dude, guess how much I pay for a $1 million term life insurance policy?
Gotta be at least $150 a month.
Nope. I got coverage through Ethos all online for less than $70 a month and no medical exam. Just answered a few health questions.
That's impressive. I'm shocked you have life insurance.
Wait, don't you? You have a wife and kids. What if something happens to you? With Ethos, you can start your coverage the same day.
Wow. I'm sold.
Get your free quote at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone for my guys and gals at Valley Ford of Columbus. If you're looking for a quality pre-owned vehicle without breaking the bank, then you need to get to Valley Ford of Columbus because they've got a great selection of certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage cars, trucks, and SUVs waiting for you. One of the big keys to Valley's success is satisfied customers like me. I've bought a pre-owned Ford Explorer from Valley. Our family loves it. And the selection and savings on certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage vehicles at Valley is outstanding. You can shop them online, valleyfordofcolumbus.com, or you can just stop in and see the value there. Plus, every certified pre-owned Ford Blue Advantage vehicle with a blue or gold certification features a minimum 139-point inspection. And they're backed by a 14-day or 1,000-mile money-back guarantee. That's right. They stand behind every one of them with a money-back guarantee. Go to Valley for a test drive or at least look at them online, valleyfordofcolumbus.com. Get the better deal and keep on trucking at Valley Ford of Columbus today.
Vehicle must be returned within 14 days, 1,000 miles, whichever comes first from the original sales date and mileage is stated on bill of sale and return in